Hello everyone, welcome. I'm RxOliver, these are my friends, and we're playing Coriolis the Greatdark. This is the Flowers of Algorab, and this is chapter 2, finally. Let's go. I'm here tonight with Max, David, Dave, and Brian. Kick us off, Brian, you may take it away.
Alright.
My headphones have got no charge, folks. I'm an idiot.
Ship City is alone. Or is it? By common reckoning, it has been a millennia since the Zenith and the Nadier embarked from Al-Ardha, Old Earth. 1,000 years. Since that time, 3 separate horizons have been explored and colonized and collapsed. Few now remember much of even the third horizon, though some remember the coming of the Zenith. Fewer still remember the building of Coriolis Station, the jewel of Kua, the heart of humanity among the stars. But most remember the imperialist wars between the First Come and the Zenethians. They remember the destruction of Coriolis. They remember fleeing the third horizon. And now people whisper of the Nadier, the sister ship to the Zenith, lost for a millennia. And many wonder if we are no longer alone among the stars. And some fear we might not be. So at the end of our last session, we were dealing with
Zapi.
Well, I don't need to pull you there, I don't think. We were dealing with essentially an ambush at your shuttle. Tamar Zarab and some Zapi were staked out in front of your shuttle with the intent, it seems, to potentially arrest you or even recover something was said of contraband. Edris allowed himself to be cuffed by Tamar Zarab, but then it became and you know, attempted a decent gambit of I'm here alone. But it became clear even after cuffing him and leaving him on the ground, she was not convinced. And she ordered her Zapi to search the perimeter for the rest of the crew. And a firefight ensued. 2 Zapi assault officers lie dead on the cold metal of Aluminum Bay, their blood still warming, perhaps, as their bodies lay still. 2 of the Zapi constables, the only 2, I should say, surrendered. They saw the way the situation was going, they threw down their weapons and threw themselves down to the metal as well. And Tamar was subdued forcefully. And that's where we find ourselves. I guess to give us a background, I'll move us to Aluminum Bay, where your ship is currently docked.
Yeah, and I'm currently in that big forklift machine. Kind of had to.
You are in the big forklift. Yeah, that's true. So, no one has seen what has happened. Garita, Brian, who hopefully will be joining us a little bit later on, made moves as if to execute the survivors, but was stopped by Osric. And
Thankfully.
Reason, I think, was attempted to be spoken into him. As it stands, he's no longer attempting that, or I should say she, Garita. And we are in front of the Mira. There are no ships docked in the slips next to you. Currently, no one seems to be aware of what went down. It's possible even that the shots might not be heard over the clamoring and the the hubbub going on in Aluminum Bay. What with the recent power surge that knocked out a lot of the power in Ship City, people are still kind of recovering from the fallout of that. So what do you guys want to do? You have three
Get them
prisoners.
onto the ship. Get them onto our ship, out of sight. And...
we've got 3 prisoners and 2 dead bodies. Let's get all of that onto our ship.
Okay.
Definitely.
So that'll take some time. Are you going to do anything to clean up any of the blood?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, they got perfectly good clothes and just use their clothes of that.
You could. So,
I mean, we've
how
got
much
2
supply
dead
do you have
Zapi
left?
assault officers in our hands. I'm already pulling clumps of hair out, like, oh shit. And then realising, don't leave hair lying around, that's evidence, putting it in my pocket.
How much supply do you all have left?
I've got 9.
I've got 5.
I will let you spend, whoever wants to, 2 supply to
I've got none.
say that you, on your ship, have what you need to, pretty well clean up.
I will spend it because I am not very good at dealing with prisoners and so on. I'm just okay at stopping people killing them.
I'll be doing some cleaning. You can do the cleaning with me, Osric. Me and you will do the cleaning. Maybe
Yes.
Edris and Rico can do the interrogating.
Also, just to be clear, I do want to let you guys know that while this is sci-fi, keep in mind this is kind of limited sci-fi. So, unless they're using heirloom technology, forensic capabilities are essentially the same as the 1800s.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, cleaning up the blood
Is enough.
Is enough, probably.
Doesn't have to be. Yeah, it doesn't have to pass modern forensic
so I mean,
tests.
by spending, basically, I'm letting you spend 2 supply to say that you've got various cleaning supplies on board your ship, and also, probably some large tarps or plastic sheets that you can wrap the bodies up in, right?
Oh, I know something to get rid of the body.
Well, you do.
Hey, I'm from Whole
Helltown.
City, though.
Yeah. Okay, so you clean up the scene, you bring the bodies and the prisoners on board the Mira. I will let that happen with no rules or anything like that. Again, the slips next to you aren't taken up. Still a lot of hubbub going on in Aluminum Bay, so nobody really watches that you're aware of.
Should we send a message to Master or Idris, or I'm just our boss?
Muska.
Master Muska.
I know.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
you should
Master
see
Muska.
Muska personally.
I think we need to speak to her. I think we need to speak to her personally. Yes.
So I love to say, what do we do about these 3?
Well, we secure them. I mean, do we go see Muska first before the interrogation, or do you want us to question these before we go and see? Because ultimately, and this is out of sight of, is it Zorab, Tamar, Zorab, and the other 2? These guys aren't going to be able to be let go.
No.
Not without Muska being able to do interference for us.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if we have a chat with Muska,
we certainly need if we restrain them, but keep them separate from each other so they can't talk to each other.
Yeah.
Because we've got we're on the Myra, or whatever it's called. But
Mirror.
Also got
Maria.
the crawler, so we can separate them into different locations so they can't talk to each other.
So just as something you might consider that maybe you as individuals aren't thinking about, but your characters might, you could ask Muska to come to you. She's not tied to Vermillion House.
That's what I was saying.
I was going to say we
could to come here.
We could leave one with the prisoners if we wanted to go there, but yeah, if we could ask her to come to us even.
Well, I was going to suggest once we've secured them, because it's off shift, we send somebody out and send a ticker message asking Muska to come to the Myra.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
I could do that.
Yeah.
Because the reason we came to the Myra was because it was off shift, and
It was off shift.
while she has an open office, the GM wanted us to deal with Zorab.
Yep.
Yep.
So
She has to sleep.
Yes, true. I would suggest that one of you go and send a message to Master Muska asking her to come here, and we need to talk to Zorab. As I understand it, basic talking to the cops, the Zapi.
Yeah, they're not going to know much, are they? The two constables are not going.
They were just ordered to accompany her.
So here's the thing.
Yes?
I want to send a ticker, or I want to get in contact with my contact who I've never used before because of the flower. So I would be going to the ticker station or doing something along those lines anyway. So if I could do the message to Muska at the same time, so I'll go to the
You
ticker
can do
station.
that.
Can I suggest that you wait until we speak to Muska, because
No, I'm saying I'll go to the ticker station to send for Muska. I'm going to send the ticker for her to come here.
Yes, but I was going to suggest if we can get Muska to use her influence with the other factions, it may gain benefits.
But I want to use my influence with my contact because I've never done it before.
Yeah, I know.
So here's the thing.
I'm not expecting you to agree with me. I'm just maneuvering to get the explorers stuff.
I will also tell you that while yes, you can absolutely do that, Oliver, and I think you should engage with your botanist contact to do so. I do want to point out that the flower is technically an artifact. It was found in a delve. I mean, I know we normally think of artifacts as technology, but
don't I have an artifact specialist? Right? I do.
Well, but the reason why I want to bring that up to you is that
we need to hand it into the guild.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, failure to turn in a major artifact, and who knows if this is major, is grounds for dismissal from the guild.
So I've got an idea then, Ozil. Why don't you go and ask Muska to come to us, and then
show her the flower.
Request to Muska that you've got your contacts in the gardening guild, and suggest that you could get the information on
you could send a ticker to both. Yeah. You could send a ticker to both, to be honest. It's up to you.
I could ask my contact to come to us, but then, because then we're getting somebody else involved and somebody else.
At least you're setting up, say you tell your contact, say, look, I found something that you've been massively interested in, I need to get your eyes on it, sort of thing. You've made the contact, and then we don't do anything until we've spoken to Muska.
Yeah, you got at least a hit out.
So shall I tell them where to come to get in contact with me, though? Should I tell them to come to our shuttle? Because at the moment we've got dead bodies and prisoners here. I don't know if that's a good idea.
No, we go to them. We
bring it to them, but you're just prepping him or them that we will be bringing something to them.
Okay. But you're going to ask Muska to come to you?
Yes.
Okay. So Ozil's going to the ticker station. Is anybody else going?
I'm gonna go with them to give them some protection.
I'm cleaning the docks.
Appreciate it,
I'll secure the prisoners.
Okay.
Yep.
So Rico and Ozil go to the ticker station, send off the messages. Muska, should come when able, sooner than later, I would imagine. Do you put some urgency in it?
Yes, as soon as possible.
Regarding
our job.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. She knows what you were doing.
She knows what we're doing. Regarding the thing.
And then,
the thing.
Yeah.
Regarding personal matters,
the thing.
And then you are going to...
Second botanist Desire Uhat. I'm going to contact them.
Oh, is she second botanist? Is that what I told you?
Second botanist. Is that because I'm first botanist?
Okay. I think no,
you're
not first botanist. Not anymore. You're no botanist. You're an explorer.
I'm a nobodyist. No botanist, nobodyist.
No botanist wants me.
Okay. And you tell her what exactly?
Got something I need your eyes on. Can I come and see you?
Okay, cool.
Well, before Rico goes, can I suggest that we get Ashes to Soul Delview?
That would be nice.
Is that the one that restores hope?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, that would be
And-
lovely.
If Ashes
think-
has the energy, sure.
Oh yes, and we need Edris done as well, I believe.
Think
How
so.
are you, Edris?
Got 2 hope.
Oh yeah, he
I'm
needs
here.
more than
Okay.
me.
Yeah, because we got that one from that one thing. It's like,
He needs
yeah, I
more
can
than
win
me.
everybody.
I always push it to the edge, I do.
I am
Yes,
looking
so
to
you're-
spend some
you're-
experience
you're-
points,
you know,
by the way,
you're-
if we get a chance
you're-
in this session. I've got some experience points to spend.
You're
Definitely
5
We'll
hope
get there.
down.
We'll get there.
though.
Pounds.
I am 5 hope down, yes.
So you're back to normal now, and Ashes is going to be resting for the shift.
Thank you, Ashes.
Well, hang on. Before we just say you're back to normal, you do have to make rolls for
So
Ashes
roll.
to do
My
that.
apologies. My apologies.
Isn't it?
I
Yeah,
will
Ashes makes a roll, and then
probably
he
make
gets a
roll.
D6 back or something.
No, if he
It's roll
succeeds
back.
if he succeeds with
It's roll
Ashes
back.
on the Soul Delve, they get all of their hope back.
Sweet.
Fair enough. Let's try my rolls. So this is the bird handler.
Yep. Insight.
Probably in treats you want to.
And
There's
That's
a
a
success.
Oh,
Success.
okay, six.
so the first one worked, and we try the second one.
For Max, I think you said first. So
Well, the
Max
first one was
rolls
Rico
full.
because he's leaving
Yep.
the ship, and then it was
Yep.
Edris,
Yeah.
who is
Okay.
also down 5.
I'm only
I'm back
down
to normal.
4.
Ooh.
Nope. Do you want to push that?
How many ones is it?
How many
I think
ones?
think it's
Two.
double
There's
that
2
one.
ones on it, mate.
Oh, don't push it.
Hmm.
Because you're going to get a sleep period in here soon anyway, so, like...
Yeah.
Okay, so Ashes did not spend that hope, that energy then.
Does it
I
still
believe the
expend
energy
the
is
energy
still
if you
spent.
fail? Maybe it
You
does.
just failed. Yeah.
Is it spent?
I believe so.
Well, if it's spent,
now, let's-
then
for now-
Ashes has done the soul delve, surely.
Well, no, because it's like anything else. I mean, you have to spend energy to make an attempt. It's
The
just that
attempt.
the attempt wasn't
Yes, but
successful.
But I'm spending the effort to talk to Ashes to get Ashes
Well, sure.
to do something. So what's
Sure.
Ashes done instead?
Yeah,
They
she's
attempted the
not
soul
doing-
delve.
oh,
It's just for whatever reason they weren't able to succeed.
Oh, I see. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So
it's not just a
energy
case
is
of
down.
he failed to convince the bird to do it. The bird attempted and failed because his bird
Yeah.
handling roll failed. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right. So, but that's fine because it'll, when you guys rest, he'll get D6 hope back. Ashes will get all of its energy back. We'll get there. So, I'm going to fast forward us a little bit. You guys send off your message. You make it back probably in the same shift. We're going to go ahead and move to the morning. We're going to say that between the technically 5 of you, because Garita is here as well, you are all able to keep an eye on the prisoners and also get rest in. So everybody recovers a point of health, a point of heart, and D6 hope, and Ashes regains all of its
Just-
energy.
So it's 1 heart,
Whilst
1 health, and D6 hope.
Correct, because you sleep during this period, I would assume.
whilst we do that, Brian, I just want to make aware that I will feed and water Zarab and the other constables, make them comfortable. I don't want to
Well,
make them think they're going to be tortured.
Let
just
them
yet.
have
I
coffee
mean,
and
that's all.
cigarettes and things.
Okay.
Aye,
Yeah,
make them
they can have,
comfortable. Aye, aye,
drinks.
aye.
They can have something to eat if they're hungry and stuff like that.
Okay,
Treat
yeah,
them like
that's fine.
treat them as guests while they're hostages. Let them eat and drink and have cigarettes and whatever. Just normal people.
Yeah, it's not like they didn't try to
Be-
kill us.
Yeah,
so,
don't be
yeah.
dicks to them. Don't torture them.
I think it'd probably be worthwhile me acting as a nurse for this shift.
Okay.
because I can care for a number of patients equal to my logic score.
Which is
Which
high
is
as
what,
hell.
6.
6. So that would give the people concerned 2 hearts back rather than 1.
Is it heart or is it health?
Sorry, they heal 2 points of damage instead of 1.
So
Is
Yeah,
that's
so-
health.
Health? Okay.
So it's 2 health
so-
as opposed
So
to
who's
so
actually
everybody.
injured?
I'm
So
still
who's
down
actually
1 on the
injured?
health, mate. I would still take another
No,
one.
I'm good.
Rico?
I'm max. I didn't take any damage.
I was 2 down,
So yeah,
so I'm
Ozil gets a bonus health.
Yeah, so I'm 1 down if I don't get it, and I'm good if I get it.
Okay. And the Zaptian Zorab?
Yeah, you can minister to them as well.
I like that, Osric. I appreciate that. I think that's how I want to treat our prisoners. Like,
Well,
Okay.
yes,
we're
of
not
course.
savages.
I'll say we've
We
absolutely.
don't want to have
So-
prisoners, so let's treat them like, like.
I will
as good as
say,
possible.
even without an insight test, you all seem. Anybody who thinks about it might find it interesting that Zarab isn't making threats of any kind. Like, she's not saying stuff like, you all are in big trouble, this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
She's just kind of taking it.
Taking it in
like,
a stride.
you-
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Well,
question,
while I'm
question about
treating
her reaction. If we.
Well, while I'm
So- go
treating
ahead,
her, I'm going to ask Ashes to just run a blight scan.
Good shout, David.
Mm.
How do they respond to the way we treat them if we treat them how we've said? Like, make them as comfortable as possible while they are prisoners. How do they respond to that?
First of all, the blight scan. Okay.
Yep,
Success.
I
Okay.
managed to get that right.
Ashes detects 0 blight on any of them.
That's a relief.
That's good.
Okay. Now, as far as how they respond, assuming, as you said, you're keeping the constables separate from Tamar,
Yep.
the constables are like, look, we don't know what you intend to do, but, like, we're just following orders. Like,
Precaution, my friends. Precaution. That's all. We just can't.
But
Got a few
Zarab
questions
is...
for your boss.
So they are thankful when you give them food and water, and make them somewhat comfortable. You could fairly easily, if you wanted to, like, seal them into one of the bunk rooms of your
Because we've got 2 spare bunk rooms.
rover.
We've got one.
Rover,
We've
yeah.
got one. We've
Yeah,
got 2
I can
bunk
make
rooms,
sure
we've
it
got one
won't
rover
open.
and one on the ship.
Yeah,
Um,
you
I
could
can
make
ma-
sure it won't open, and make sure there's nothing in there
Yeah.
that they could, like, use
And-
or
yeah,
anything
and
like
I
that.
don't-
Just yeah.
I don't just mean like let them have something to eat. I mean, like, they will eat as we eat. If we're having whatever with whatever, they
The
will
constables.
have that. They will have that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we are drinking wine,
Yeah.
they will
Oh,
have
yeah,
wine.
yeah.
Like, we'll treat them
Sure.
like
Yeah.
as equals at our like guests
Yeah.
at the table.
Smoke. They can do what they want if they want cigarettes or
Mhm.
Okay.
Hey,
Rough
Brian, I have a
enough.
quick question.
Sirra.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
How many days do I have left on my ears situation?
Oh, yeah.
3.
She's got like half a ear
Okay.
or something. Eh?
Yeah, it was a bad nick on the ear.
Now 2 actually after that rest period.
Okay.
But it won't matter because we're about to do a bit of a time skip, so I wouldn't
Okay.
worry about it too much. So you treat them well, you feed and water them. Again, the constables are confused. They are not threatening. They're just like, they saw that you took down the assault officers, but by the same token, they're not like calling you murderers or anything. I mean, you were all shooting at each other. Like, they were following orders, you shot back, whatever. But as far as they know, you're not criminals of any kind. And in fact, they fired first. At least the assault officers did. So, that is what it is. Tamar, again, seems very relaxed, very casual, not overly concerned, not responsive either, but not threatening. So, in the morning, not long after the beginning of the morning shift, there is a ping at your entry hatch. indicating that you have a visitor, essentially a knock.
I'm up early, making breakfast. Was actually flipping some pancakes. See how many flips I can do obsessively, more and more every time.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
And I will go. I was up to about 17 flips. I'm really good at it. And I will go through the door. I will go and see Muska in, hopefully.
Well, if you check the vid screen next to the door, it is indeed Muska.
I will usher her in.
Iraq.
Oh, she's got the bird with her. Okay.
I mean, it's her bird. Yeah.
Mhm.
So they enter, and Iraq kind of finds a place to perch, and you always get the feeling that Iraq is very judgmental when he looks around the room. You don't know if that's accurate or not, but he's just got that look, you know, like some dogs have that judgmental look.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he finds a perch, and she comes in, and she's like, you seemed agitated in your ticker. What's going on?
Who would like to tell Master
We've had,
Muska? Is everyone around?
We've had developments in the situation.
I mean, we did some good stuff.
We've kept Zara, Tamar with us. The constables are in the rover.
What?
So I'm going to open the door and show it Tamar tied up, and we have some questions that we need to ask. They attacked. We came back. We were attacked
by these guys.
I actually surrendered peacefully, unarmed, and we were still attacked. And I'm going to look back at Tamar as I say this. They had no intention of arresting us. This was purely a ambush to assassinate us.
Zarab now, upon seeing Muska, looks concerned.
I have big
And
sledgehammer
says,
behind me.
Good.
That's absurd. We had no intention of ambushing you. I was attempting to take contraband from your explorers, ma'am.
Are you going to stick to that story then? I take it.
Hey, did we find anything on him? Like
She,
any criminating evidence?
We took
We
all
know
the
it's
money.
bullshit.
Okay.
yeah, they didn't have any money on them. So she turns in.
I shall
Oh, go ahead.
quietly ask Master Muska, what contraband will we carry? And how did
Okay,
she
so
know?
at that, she turns and looks at you, and she says, "That is an excellent question, Osric.
And how would they know
my-
anything like that?
My explorers, are you carrying contraband of any kind?"
I look at it as a pickaxe, hammer,
I mean, it
tools,
depends what you
no.
consider contraband, doesn't it?
She turns and looks at Tamar and says, "What contraband?" "I have it on authority that they have certain things that are not allowed on Ship City."
Did I or did I not allow you to search me? And did you not search me? You handcuffed me, you put me on the floor, and you then attacked my colleagues. Without searching me, I offered you.
Actually,
Peacefully.
I'm going to back up a little bit because they didn't attack first. Garita did.
Correct. Garida attacked first.
No, she don't know that.
She never.
I'm not saying that,
But-
but that is the case. Garida fired the first shot.
Garida was protecting me.
Zorab
she knew the
put you
situation.
down.
Well, hang on.
Or,
I'm not saying that all this has to come out like that.
Oh,
I'm
no,
just
no,
saying.
it doesn't.
I
I'm just
remembered
correcting people.
that Garita. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Zarab says, "Yes, I searched him." Or no, Zarab says, "I did not search him. I placed him in handcuffs on the ground, and I went to find the rest of the crew, and then we were fired upon." Is that not true?
No.
And whose authority told you that we might be carrying contraband? This may tie into further problems for you, Mistress Zorab.
So that is an excellent question, and she turns and looks at you, and then looks Muska dead in the face and says, "On the authority of a guildmaster."
It's Guildmaster.
Which guildmaster?
And
Can I-
before
Go on, sorry.
Tamar even says anything, Muska says she can't tell you that. Or she's not
What?
required to.
Cool.
Well, our guild master says
Are you
she's a dickhead,
serious?
so
Guildmasters, Zapi, it's complicated. They work for us, but they work for us individually. And unless there's cause, and unless found necessary by a tribunal, by a council meeting, the Zapi need not disclose which guildmaster has given them
Even
orders.
after an assassination attempt, twice, an ambush, we're
And
not
Zara
allowed
says,
to.
we made no moves to assassinate you.
Okay, okay. That's you sticking with that story. Okay.
Excuse me, but an actual assassination, which was then officially classified by the Zapti as suicide.
That also was on the orders of a guildmaster.
What?
I mean, we
The
took out an
assassination or the classification as suicide?
The Zapti had no hand in Najar's murder.
Ah, so you agree it was murder?
I apologize, I misspoke.
well done, David.
The Zapti
Nah,
had no
nah,
hand
nah, misspoke my
in
fucking
Najar's
song.
suicide.
We got you, we've got you. Well done,
I believe it would be as well for us to bring Master Muska up to speed with certain other matters which may have a bearing on the situation.
What about this one? Should we shut the door on that one so he can't see her?
Exactly. Well, so that she doesn't hear
Before
what we
you
tell Master
do-
Muska.
Before you do, Tamar actually says, I believe you know as well as I do who had a hand in Najar's demise.
Well, we killed
Says
that one
to
guy.
who?
Who's that then?
Who does Tamar say that to? To Muska?
To all of you, yeah.
No, we
Who
don't.
do you
We are
believe
not
it
friends with
was?
murderers. We don't know who you're talking about.
Who do you believe it was?
Me?
Yes.
Well, one of yours. She says, looking directly at Osric.
Oh,
So-
it's like
so-
that. Yeah.
Now we're saying it's the Coriolites.
Well, we know it's a Coriolite.
No,
we
no.
know it's a Coriolite already.
As far as
We already
you
know
know who had a hand in Najar's demise. Someone that you've already dealt with, as Max said.
We've dealt with them.
Oh, I know. But that just confirms that she's aware of Don's
Correct.
involvement.
Yeah.
The question is, was the guildmaster also involved in Davidon's involvement? And that we can't ask. So I believe it's best for the time being to shut Zarab up in her room and then brief Master Muska on everything that we found and the implications that has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still guarding the pearl.
Are we going to put some headphones on her so she can't hear nothing? Earmuffs.
Well, I mean, your ship is big enough. You can move away, and she's in the shuttle.
We shut her up in a confined space, and then we go elsewhere and tell tell and show Master Muska.
So as you, assuming you do so, as you lock them back up and move away and get to a private place, Muska says, "Is there anything else I need to know before we continue?"
Well, I mean, he looks at Idris and the rest of them. Is like, which one? There's probably a few.
I'm sorry, about the Zapti or about what we found on the mission?
Well, about the Zapti specifically.
Well, yes. Yeah, there is one more.
Two Zapti assault officers were killed during the fight, and we have two Zapti constables prisoner in the shuttle as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She pulls out a communicator that clearly is heirloom tech, And she says,
Ah.
give me a few moments.
Yep.
And she walks away from you and has a bit of a conversation. Is there anything you all want to discuss amongst yourselves before she comes back?
Well, as they're going to discuss, I want to get me something where I could put the bowl on, like, you know, like maybe something like this, and you have the bowl sticking there. You know, like, I don't know.
Like a cup. Just get a cup or something. A cup will
A
hold
cup
it.
or
Yeah,
something.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
just
only
get something.
it's only like fist or apple
Yeah.
sized. Sure.
Yeah, so I get there and I put it like clamp it right there, and I put a cloth over it. So I'm like,
Okay.
ta-da!
You're gonna do some magic for her. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, exactly.
So after a few minutes, she comes back and
Well,
she
while
says, Yeah,
she's
go ahead.
doing that, I mean, how's the life support system in the shuttle?
"Oh, it's fine."
It'd be good. It's good. I make sure it's working.
Fine. I'll have a quick fag to calm my nerves.
Yeah, I would assume currently it's like it's
I'll
running,
turn the,
and
I'll
so
turn the air conditioning up slightly.
right, and so is the life support in the rover, but they're also both currently essentially like linked into Ship City, right? So like
Yeah.
you're not running on your own power or anything like that. It's
No.
all interconnected currently.
Well,
Yeah,
as
that'll be
long as the Ship City power is back up to connect.
It is.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's good.
it's all very much
Well,
back
why
up
it went
now.
down for a minute. I wonder what happened to that, eh?
Yeah, I look at
Mysterious,
it.
so
I look
mysterious.
at Ozil. Like, really? I wonder what happened.
So
huh?
mysterious, mate. So mysterious.
I give you this look.
So-
Like, really?
She comes back, a minute or two later, and she says, "Okay, I'm going to have to go in and speak to the council about this. I've got a team coming that are going to take the Zapti off of your hands, all of them,
Alright.
Even Norab.
even Zorab. But I will give you a chance to talk with her before they arrive. From the point that I leave until they arrive, that is the amount of time you have.
Should we?
I
tell-
encourage you not to hand her over to my team in a condition different than what she is in now."
Oh, no.
Ah.
Oh no. There'll be nothing like that going on.
Very well. I had thought
uh,
not, but I wanted to be certain.
We're not that kind of people.
I will say,
do,
hey,
do
boss.
do the explorers have their own blight decontamination team? As a matter of interest,
We have teams. We have researchers. We have people who work for the guild. They are guild members, but they don't actually go on delves. They're not field teams like you are.
Yeah.
But yes, we have such.
good, because it might be sensible to mobilize that, or get them mobilized, ready to go and decontaminate an area of blight in Ship City.
Well, I think we have much to discuss then.
Yes.
Well, I was like, I got a present for you.
A
He's like,
present?
what? Yeah, he's like, ta-da! And you see a big orb. It's like, we found that.
Yeah, there's this also.
Interesting.
ain't telling
She
about the
reaches
flowers.
out to pick it up.
Don't,
No.
don't-
I'd rather not touch that. Be safer that way.
She
should-
looks at Arak, who kind of gives her an imperceptible nod, and she picks it up anyway.
Looking around, I'm like,
Nothing happens.
I was like,
She says, "I feel like I've seen something like this before."
yeah, so we.
Anything else?
Yes.
We found a body. That had it.
Yeah, and also, yeah, there's loads. This, I'll show the flower.
Okay. So,
Might I suggest I give you a quick chronological run through as to what actually happened? And
Yeah, we'll let the guy
she
talk.
nods and is listening to you as she also reaches out to take the baggie with the flower in it.
Okay.
Okay, I shall quickly run through what we have gone through in terms of finding out about Davudon, dealing with Davudon, activating the artifact, investigating in the archives and finding the access route down below the well, and then going down the well, finding the the Grey
body?
Wardens, and then making our way into the chamber, finding the vines, the blight, blah 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 blah, the astronaut's body, the bead, or sorry, the orb it was holding, and Ozil can describe what happened when he grasped the orb.
When Rico grasped the orb.
Effectively-
When Rico grasped the orb.
He's Tom. You touched it with your hand.
Moments
So-
before you start going over all of this, she does pull out a tabula from inside her coat. Tabula is heirloom technology. It's essentially like the equivalent of a tablet or a laptop computer. They are uncommon. It's no surprise to you that she has one. And she taps it a few times with a stylus, and you can see that it's fairly apparent, because you've all, even though you don't own one, it's not like you've never seen one.
Yeah.
It's
You've seen her
apparent
with
that
it
there's
before.
like a microphone and that it's
Yep.
it's recording everything that you're saying, but she's also taking notes as you talk about this. Anything else in specific you want to point out?
Oh, the body. I was like, the weird.
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
I mean,
weird
she's-
visions. The
Yes.
visions of the
She
head of-
definitely looks up and raises her eyebrow when you talk about the body.
And the
but,
message.
Yeah, she goes back to just listening, and
And the message.
Oh,
There's so,
so
much.
the-
So
with
much
the
to
message,
unbox
she
here,
does
Master.
ask you specifically, what do you mean message? Was there an actual message?
Well, yes and no, Master Muska. I felt like when Rico touched the thing, a message was sent somewhere and something replied. I could feel it when Rico touched it.
Yeah, and you
I
talk
have
about the
here
big
that
light that
according
goes up.
to
Did you talk about? The
I
big
have
light
here that
goes up
according
from
to
it?
what Osric said, you touched it. Rico just
And the big
picked it
light
with
went up and
tongs.
everything went dark.
When I
thing.
touched it, aye, something like that.
Everything went
It was
dark.
maybe me, it was maybe
When
Rico, I
Ozil
don't
touched
remember
it?
exactly the details.
Well, yeah, everything went bright, and then you can't see because it was just a big bright.
And everything went off for a second, but when
went
everything went off, it was like some message went out somewhere. But something heard it. Something heard that message. And I don't know how to describe
So-
how I know that.
Well,
So
you
you
described
all-
it as something responded.
Something
Um,
responded, yeah.
And
But you all are the
unfortunately,
reason why power went out throughout the city.
Well,
that
technically
does
it was him.
appear to be the case,
That would be
Master.
Rico, yeah.
No, that was you, Ozil. I don't know what you're talking about. I told you, I was using the tongs. I
I mean,
with
it-
my hand.
Well,
Yeah,
that's a
it was us.
detail, I think, and she does a couple of taps, and
It's
looks
not-
like she's maybe deleting some recording,
You're right.
and
It's like
You're
some
right.
detail we'll keep-
sometimes we share too much,
we'll
maybe.
keep to ourselves for right now. No, you should have told me, but we will keep that
wasn't lying
detail
to the
amongst
boss.
ourselves.
One of us touched it.
I don't
minor
want-
detail.
Regardless of who touched it, Ozil, I don't want any of you to indicate to anyone, under any circumstances, unless I've told you differently, that you might be the cause of the power outage.
Certainly, Master.
No, I
I
can
was
say nothing.
I was
Loud
concerned
and clear.
that was a breach of one of the prime rules.
An accidental one,
It-
of course.
Could be, accidental or not. Let me handle it for now. Don't tell
Yes,
anyone
Master.
else.
We don't plan on.
Yes. I will go over the sigils. I will go over the identification that this is apparently a crew member from the Nadier.
So she takes all of that information and
The visions.
she...
The visions. Tell her about the visions. Osric and
That's
Edris.
up to you.
You're going to tell her
Well,
about that when
um,
we
Ed-
tell her?
Ed-
yeah,
Ed-
we,
Edris is probably the best suited to that because I didn't
There's so
really
much
pay
to
them
unpack.
that much attention.
Yeah, Edris got a bit of a little problem with it.
There
Well,
is
we-
also the fact of
we
those
saw
vines.
in the vision that the body that we found, because at first it was I was having a moment as we were doing the delve, and something came over me, and I had this vision, and it turns out that the vision, this was after we'd found the body.
No,
It was
it
the
was
body
before.
that I
It was-
saw in the vision.
Yes, you got the we got the vision.
No, I saw the
way
vision,
down
but I
the
didn't
well.
put two and
Yes.
two together.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I had the vision, but then when I saw the body, I was like, aha, that's what I saw in the vision.
Well, emanations of blight can do interesting things to our
Yeah,
minds
that's what I
sometimes.
thought. So absolutely.
True.
What about those dead dudes that were down there, or the guys that were like, you know, like blighted
The Grey
guardians or whatever?
Wardens.
They weren't there when
weren't
you
dead.
left.
They'd
And they
fucked
weren't
off by the
dead
time
either,
we
they were
by the time we
breathing.
came back through. They were away, mate.
Oh yeah,
As soon as
but
we
I'm
switched
saying
off their
that-
sunbed for a second, they buggered off.
And she
That's-
verifies that you're certain.
Are we telling them about the sunbed, the
That-
blight bed?
Right.
The black. Well,
Yes,
he'd already
I've
mentioned that too.
I've already
with it.
mentioned that, and
They
also
were in
the fact that
rays of
I have
blight.
I have notified First Servant Nima of the Grey Wardens.
Oh, that might have been a mistake. I think the
Dastardly
Coriolites are
acts.
baddies, mate. I think they're because they're the ones that have said
I
I
look
wish.
this Zapi after
extremely
us.
upset with Oziel.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to deal with it, mate.
Well,
I
it
wish
might
you
not
hadn't
be. There might be
done
a
so.
bad faction. It's not the whole group, but there might be a bad faction of them.
I wish you hadn't
Correct.
done so, but I understand why you have.
I wish you hadn't done so now
I
as
will
well.
have to contact First Servant
Share-
Nima, you said?
Sharing thing again.
I had suggested that First Servant Nima contact you because, for various reasons, there might be an agreement between the Coriolites and yourselves as to what information is released and how the reorganization of the Grey Wardens might be dealt with politically and publicly.
Well, I will look for such contact from this First Servant Nima then. In the meantime, I need you all to lay low. I'd like for you to stay on the station, but get some rest. It might take some time to settle things and deal with certain problems. For now, I will take my leave. As I said, you have until the retrieval team arrives to speak to Zarab if you wish to. The retrieval team will also be retrieving the orb and the flower.
Oh, when are they coming? Because I wanted to get some eyes on
They
that
will-
from the
They
guild.
will show up when you're done dealing with Zarab. So you're not going to have time to get your contact to have eyes on it unless
Unless I
you
go
take
to
a
them.
fragment of it.
Unless I take a piece off it, I can just take one petal or two petals off it, a flower. It's not going to
An
compromise
artifact to
the
be
sam-
surrendered to the guild.
Yeah,
Oziel.
yeah.
But it's just a piece.
But they're not going to know if I
Not
take
the
a
whole-
sniff
it's
on
not
it.
the
Just
whole
a
flower.
sample.
Yeah, if I a
I'll
wee
I'll
piece.
let you make that decision. You don't even have to tell anybody else if you don't want to.
Let's say also doesn't even tell any of you guys. You don't even know I've done it.
I'm working on the ship. I'm doing the repairs on my stuff. I'm like, all right.
But then he runs and
So-
tells us Ricky's done it because he's
Yeah,
too scared to
to
have a secret.
Tamar.
Well, I will suggest to Master Muska that a team is organised to go and recover the astronaut's body before anything might be done with it. If the renegade Grey Wardens decide to try and conceal the evidence of their crimes,
I will be doing so, believe me.
oh, good, a priceless artifact of the Nadier.
So
Oh yeah, we didn't take any of your stuff. Too,
let's deal with any questions you have with Zarab, and then we're gonna jump ahead a bit.
We can talk about
So-
money while Muska's here.
We can, or you can just wait until you get paid. It's
Or
up
do
to
we-
you. Do you
Or do we
bring
not
it
get
up with
paid
her?
immediately after? No. I'm just wondering. Do we not get paid?
Well, I mean,
immediately
she's
after
not
doing
walking
it?
around with the money, but we will handle the payment, like with the cutscene. But like,
okay. No, I'm not in a hurry to do it. Like, no.
okay.
Well, the other item is how many of the shards are we surrendering to the guild? Because I believe certain
We owe
people may
somebody
have made a
25%
deal
of
to.
them. Rico's mate.
Well, I want to remind you
25% of them.
what I brought up last session. You actually don't have to surrender any of the shards to the guild. Shards are seen as just kind of side commodities,
It's the artifacts we have to give up.
and it's lesser and greater artifacts you have to give up. Shards are essentially just ways for you to earn some
Shards
extra
are others.
cash.
The shards are money. So I
Now,
get-
if you want to sell them to the guild, you certainly can, but you can sell them to other parties as well.
Aye, well, we promised
Either
this
way,
guy
you're gonna get money
25%
for them.
of whatever that load was. That guy
You had 25.
So what's
So how many are
25%
you
of
going to give
25?
to Navigator Silas?
Well, a quarter of 25
Well,
is.
it's not a round number.
Yeah, it's 6 point something, so we'll give him 7.
It would be 6 point.
We'll
You'll give him 7.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can do that in the cutscene as well.
Okay.
And we'll deal
Silas,
with
that
you
was his name.
giving those to Silas and then also selling the rest either to the guild or someone else. It's up to you. And then splitting those funds. But before we go into cutscene mode, is there anything you want to talk to Zarab about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have her all to yourself for a nebulous amount of time.
So the first question I'm going to ask is, who is the employer? Who is she working for? Who are you working for?
She's not
She
getting
looks at you
Ah.
very openly and says, "The guilds."
You know what I'm talking about. Which guild, master?
I don't have to tell you that.
You don't have to, or you won't.
I think in this case I won't.
So, yeah, I mean, you're just a pawn in this like the rest of us. You know that, don't you? You are literally being used by someone for their own ends. And when
A
that
well-paid
is
pawn,
done,
perhaps.
well, yeah, but then, you know, if that's the limit, how much are you getting paid? I'll double it if you work for us. You see how that works? It's quite pathetic if you think about it.
I don't think that you can afford my fees on your salary.
Okay. So, is there any way I can use my interrogator skill to try and get her to open up a bit more?
Really, that's what.
Or do I just
You
need to
can.
ask the right question?
You can. So first, give me an insight check.
Insight check.
Mhm.
Just a base insight check.
Unless you can think of anything you would add to that to understanding people.
Interrogator.
Interrogator.
Five.
Streetwise.
I think I'm
Streetwise. You can add streetwise to it.
Streetwise.
Oh, that's
Get-
six.
So
I'll take that.
you get the sense that although she is very confident, she is effectively played out at this moment. Like there's whatever you get the sense that whatever she was asked to do, once
Mhm.
she saw Muska and now Muska is involved, she doesn't have any other plays really.
So I'm going to lead with, listen, we like I said, we're pawns in this just as much as you are. This is a fight between the guilds. Yes, you are being paid an exceptional amount of money from what you've said. We're being paid for this too, but we're beyond that now. We've opened this whole thing has opened a can of worms which there's no coming back from. This bell cannot be unrung, and now is your time to be on the right side. And I think you know that. I think you know that deep down. Help us.
Give me a
Give
give
that
me an
man a
empathy
bonus
check
dice.
with interrogator and actor.
And
Oh no,
actor.
you can't add both, can
You
you?
can't use two.
Oh, no,
No,
Whichever
you
one
only
is-
do one talent.
Whichever one is higher,
I think about the same.
and yeah, add a bonus die.
And he's
Uh,
threatening her with a
so
knife. It's like, I will take a peeky off.
was it an insight? Did you say insight?
No, this will be empathy.
Empathy. Sorry. What's that? So,
All the while, I've got a scalpel in my fingers and I'm doing that fidget thing where people spin a pencil through their fingers, but I'm doing it with a whole
Oh,
scalpel.
I don't think I've seen
no,
ones. I don't think it's seen
no,
ones.
I'm gonna push it.
No ones.
Okay.
There
There
you
we
go.
go.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, so that's
So her shoulders slump, and she kind of puts her head in her hand, and she says, "Look, my part in this is done. I don't know what you expect from me. If you want to know who was pushing me to find that tablet, which was all I was looking for, by the way, you should ask your friend Ozil.
So you're saying Ozil knows, or you think he doesn't know, but he knows the person, but he doesn't know that they're involved?
Probably somebody passing by.
I'm just going to come out and say it. Are you saying this is Nima?
No, Nima's
Nima.
not.
No.
Nima's not my guild. Nima's
That's
Osric's
Osric.
one. Mine is
Ozil
called.
is the Gardener's Guild.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm getting the names
I'm the
mixed up.
Gardener's
Sorry.
Guild.
Yes.
She's
Oh, okay.
basically she's saying it's somebody for the Gardener's Guild. That's what she's saying.
Okay.
A Coriolite
Well-
in the Gardener's Guild, because she said one of your lot when she looked at Osric. The Coriolite from the Gardener's Guild.
No. Hang on, let's
No,
not cross wires.
No?
One
Hang
of
on.
his lot killed Nadier,
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
but
right,
who
that's
she
right.
is working for. Yeah.
It's one of mine. She's saying it's somebody from the Gardener's Guild. There's a voice in your mind, because I'm not there.
Can you tell us? Can you just tell me who? I swear your name will be kept out of this. We've been good to you, despite you with the whole thing
already
outside.
told
We've
you.
been good.
She's
I
already
take
told us
orders
who it is
from guild masters.
And she's told you which guild. She's just told you it was my guild. She's told you who it was.
I don't know who the guild master is for your
It's
place.
the guild
Matter.
master of my guild.
It's the guild master.
I'm
It's
questioning
that
Tamar. You guys aren't even in here.
I'm not.
I'm just trying to help your brain fucking work, mate. I'm just getting it
I'm not
fucking
helping
kicked
at all.
in the
I'm
right
trying-
direction.
But yeah,
I'm
you're
trying to find out.
while Edris might
okay.
not know specifically, you're getting that she's
Okay.
taken orders from a guild master, which she doesn't have to reveal who. And she told you to ask your friend
Yeah,
Ozil,
yeah.
who is a gardener.
Just trying to
Was a
find
gardener.
if there's anything. Okay, so that's fine.
Just name
We
the
get-
person. You've got it.
Are you? I mean, well, you're going to be taken by. You're getting out of this, and this is the end of the road for you with this situation.
Honestly, I'm probably going to go back to work.
Oh, great.
Oh, they're like, yeah,
So our
left on
path-
the rest to go
Our
on the
paths
way.
may cross again. Then our paths may cross again. But I think I'm done.
Look, I don't have anything against you and your crew. I was tasked
Mm-hmm.
with finding and retrieving an object for a guild master. That was my goal.
If in the future,
I also don't have anything against you and your crew for what you did to those poor assault officers that you
Mhm.
murdered.
I didn't murder him. I was trying to.
Self-defense. If our paths cross further down the road, and you say there's no ill will, is there any? No, forget it. No, you've said there's no ill will. I have to take your word at that.
Well, let me put it this way. There's no ill will unless somebody pays me.
Is it that easy with you? Do the right thing. What is
The right thing is this.
right and wrong has to
That's
come
all
into
the
The right
this.
thing for her. It's
We
all
all
she
have
gets
to
a
make
fucking
money.
minute.
Her bank account is the right thing.
We could be on the verge of something big. You want to be on the right side of
What do
history.
you mean?
Shh.
Now she just
No,
seems
it's not.
confused.
That's all I'm
What are you
saying.
talking about?
That's all I'm saying. You've made your decision. I'll leave that with you.
All right.
Excellent, Dave. Excellent.
So
That's it. I haven't got any more questions, I don't think.
before long, the Explorer team shows up, and they take the artifacts into their possession. I assume Ozil has taken.
I will also make sure they collect the tablet.
Okay,
Yeah, we don't
Fair
want that
enough.
sticking around because it's still
so
contraband.
whoever
Is it
I think
contraband
Ozil
tablet?
has a tablet
Oh, yeah,
on his
Ozil
sheet.
still
If
has
you
it.
want to remove
Yes,
that.
so I shall ask Ozil to hand the tablet over to them.
Certainly, will I just remove it from my sheet?
Yeah, just delete it. It's fine.
Is that technically 3 artifacts?
Oh, I don't even see it on my sheet. Oh, there it is, the stone tablet.
So they take the tablet. They take the orb.
Or
The
They
feather.
take the flower. What's that?
No, they don't. Yeah, they do take the feather, don't they?
No,
Not
they won't
flower.
take the feathers.
No.
no, the flower.
Oh, the flower. Sorry, I meant the
That's not an
flower.
artifact.
I meant the
The
flower.
flower.
I meant the flower. Sorry.
And I assume that you've taken a bit of a clipping of that, so
Yes.
we can note that.
Don't think I have it on my sheet, so.
I'd say
If you
probably
wanna-
could
no,
put it
you
on
wouldn't.
somewhere.
Okay.
I've got it noted down here. Ozil takes clipping.
Just one little. I'll just pull a wee petal off the floor.
Enough for a sample.
Not enough to compromise the main thing, but enough that I've got a
Sure.
solid sample of it.
Okay. And they also take the Zapti and all of the Zapti off of your
Yep.
hands.
Did he
I'd
take
say
the brown
take
bread
the gear.
ones as well?
Yes.
Good.
Like,
Go.
take their gear.
Yeah,
We don't
they
want
take all
to
of
touch any of that stuff. Yeah, take their gear and go.
And they leave. And then you have time. Then you have some time. So it's gonna be about a week that we're gonna move ahead.
Well,
Oh, good.
surely I can see the head of my guild before a week, because I'm going to see. Or not
You
the head of
can?
my guild. Sorry, not the head of my guild, but my contact at the guild, the second
Your
gardener,
contact.
Sure.
the second botanist. I need to do that.
So actually, I'm gonna split the difference and say it actually takes a better part of a week and a half or so. So we're going to say that you get contacted by Muska to meet her at Vermillion House, which is the guild house, on the 2nd of Aldebaran.
That's next
Ooh.
month.
How do I make this the current date? I guess I have to jump ahead individually, huh?
Oh, Brian, can I ask a question?
Control click to set current date. Okay. Yeah, you sure can.
During everything that's just gone on, can I retro say that my guy took his normal delving suit on and put the light delving suit on?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Well, again, you're going to have like a week and a half, right? So you get word from Muska on the 2nd of Aldebaran to meet with her. In the meantime, let's talk about various things. So, in the meantime, you will receive, technically, by the 1st of the month, you'll receive your 1,000 ruck for your pay.
Okay.
So you can write that down. And we'll need to remind Brian. Well, actually, I'll just go into Brian's sheet. That'll make it easier.
1,000 ruck each, yeah. Sweet.
Yep, everybody gets their base pay, which is 1,000 ruck a month. And you're on Ship City, so you can get it however you want it. But just put it on your sheet. Ooh, wow, Brian was strapped. He had 35 ruck left.
Okay, I got 300.
Definitely going to
Now,
spend some
in
time in that
addition
week
to
and a half
that-
doing some learning of new talents.
Yeah, we can do that. But also, let's talk about the rest of the pay. So,
Get your deal as
yeah.
well, boys, with your
You've got to give.
you set up the.
You've got to give your
with the
mate
guy.
7 shards max. Aye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so I
probably
mean
made it-
that's already done. So you've got 18 shards left to sell.
Yeah, I'll
Oh, okay.
probably pass that on word with them.
It doesn't say whether or not this is. Oh, but that's per person, so I guess that will be as well. So you're each also going to receive an additional 500 ruck
Ooh.
for a class 1
Nice.
delve. No hazard bonus, no expedition. You did recover some artifacts, so that's going to be individual. So the tablet is a lesser artifact, the flower is a lesser artifact, the sphere is a major artifact, and we'll say the body is a major artifact.
Ooh, that's some points.
So that's 5, 6, that's 7,000 ruck.
Ooh.
5 ways.
Split 5 ways. What is that split 5 ways?
1400.
1,400 each.
Okay.
1,400 each.
Okay. I can. All right.
It's what, add 400 to that, that makes it 260, so 3060. Wow.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
I got a lot of work.
I've got 3k.
I got 4K.
Three and a half. Yeah.
Now, for the shards, over the course of the week, you can try to find buyers for the shards.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, who do you want to sell them to? Because you might get different prices. I'm not going to tell you how much, but...
Well, who's going to have the best price? Who do we think's going to have the best price? Do we have any
So you
inclination?
know that if you want to sell them straight to the guild, they'll give you 100 rock per.
It's probably the safest way to do it. Not let any other groups know that we are out there doing shit and getting all this shit. Yeah, they know we are, but we don't want them to know how successful we are or things like that. I think if we could just sell the shards back to the guild and keep that shit in the guild, might be a good idea.
Why not?
That doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, all the other guilds know you're explorers.
Okay, I
you
just think
show
it's a
your
nice easy option.
It is.
Maybe an easy option, but it may not be the best option.
Mm-hmm.
What's the safest option?
Does anybody want to talk to their? Does anybody want to try to sell something to their contacts?
Well, I was going to ask
mine and
Muska,
ask.
Good excuse to
I need to
contact them.
talk to I need to talk to Master Muska to get permission to talk to my contact because she's already said that she'd rather I hadn't spoken for a second. So
Oh no, just about that one thing. You
Just
can
about
talk
that
to
thing.
First Servant Nima.
Oh no!
but
I
there
want
was-
to talk to First Servant
Okay.
Nima about more than just the shards.
Okay, so yeah, in that time period, although they're still kind of figuring things out, you can contact Muska. You can you're not trapped on your ship. You can go to Vermillion House. So you want to get. What do you want to talk to Nima about? What do you want to tell Master Muska?
Coriolite matters. What's happening with the Grey Wardens? How can we manage this? I'm concerned about the reputation of the Coriolites, Master, as you undoubtedly realise.
That's understandable.
Have you come to any agreements with First Servant Nima? Can I act as go-between, perhaps?
We
Interested in both
have.
parties? Oh, good.
I have spoken to your first servant, Nima. We've had tea, in fact, a few times. I think she and I will have a good relationship moving forward.
That's really
I do now feel you were right in letting her know. She has assured me that the keepers of the City of the Dead are under surveillance until a decision is made.
Have they been checked for blight, Mistress? Sorry, Master?
They have, and she kind of shoots a glance over at Arak. I will be keeping that information to myself until there's a tribunal.
Very good, Master.
What is most interesting is that they do not appear to have gone back down into the well. The well is currently under the control of the Explorers Guild. I have Zapi stationed in position, and I have sent an expedition down to recover additional artifacts. She just says additional artifacts and kind of peeks her eyebrow at you as if to say, don't say anything here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I will inquire politely as to whether she is aware of the results of Master Idris's talk with Tamar Zorab with regard to which particular guild she appeared to be working for.
Not unless Idris has spoken to her.
In which case, I will tell her.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have spoken to the guys about it, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
She says,
Which would make sense if they were seeking a way to bring disrepute on the Grey Wardens and move the services for the dead to their remit?
I think that is most likely. I will use this information moving forward as well. I can tell you that your crew has nothing to worry about with regards to an encounter that you may or may not have had in Aluminum Bay. Tamar Zarab has returned to work, and any casualties have been dealt with. Officially, by the council.
I see, Master. Unofficially, did the potential casualties have any family that may be in need?
They have been taken care of by the guild. When she says the guild, she means the Explorers Guild.
Yes. Yeah. In her dealings with the Gardener's Guildmaster, the presence of those vines in the chamber, which may have been dead, may have been in hibernation, might be of use in dealings?
At this point, the Explorers Guild has sole proprietary ownership and control over the well, so you need not worry about that.
Very good. Thank you, Master. In which case, I will, with your permission, speak with First Servant Nima about Coriolite matters, and thank you. I will. Is there anything that I may not pass on to the crew that you would rather I keep quiet?
No. Everything is.
Sorry,
good. Go ahead.
Apart from the additional artifacts which she gave me the sideways look about.
You actually take the sideways look to mean that you know what she's talking about and she knows what she's talking about. Right, but maybe some ears shouldn't know what they're talking about.
I will keep it quiet.
Yeah.
Okay. I thank her. I shall return to the crew. I shall pass on the news about the council have apparently dealt with the possible encounter on the docks, and that all is currently well with regard to that. Zorab's back at work. The well is now under sole Explorer Guild control, and things are progressing. Sorry, was there anything I missed from the briefing that she gave me?
That's it.
I think that was basically it. And then I shall go and see First Servant Nima. If you wish to deal with other things for other people before we deal with that, that would probably be...
I will. Ozil,
yes.
In the middle of the week, you wake up from your rest period in a bit of a sweat.
Uh-oh.
And you recall, while you were asleep, that you were standing alone in a white void. The endless whiteness is broken only by a mirror before you, but the reflection isn't yours. Instead, you see a man wearing an old heirloom-style vacuum suit, white and worn, faded insignia and ancient text mark his breastplate, a strange symbol on his helmet, stars above a crescent moon, the emblem of the lost Ark ship Nadier. He beckons, raising a hand to open his visor, and you wake up. A lingering sense of premonition stays with you. Something is coming.
Yeah, you opened the door, you shouldn't have.
Is it the second botanist, because I've been waiting ages for them.
No, but you can go see the second botanist.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to see that before we move on with
Okay.
things.
So yeah, you go see her.
I will just give
you
them...
recall, as you go see her, that the letter that she sent you about your innocuous questions about the mushrooms also included information that maybe you had forgotten, but you recall in the letter she told you that she had heard your name, the crew's name, and something about a tablet being spoken of by people around the greenhouse, which is the guild hall of the gardeners. But yeah, she receives you
So I'm not going to tell
in
her...
her workspace.
I'm not going to tell her like all about the whole story, but I'm going to ask them to... What do you think of this? What do you make of this? And I'll give them the little petal of the flower.
She
Is that
takes
it?
the petal and heads over to her workspace. She's like, have you done any investigation into this?
Not yet. I want to come to you first. Get your eyes on it.
Okay.
It's something I've not
He
seen
wanted
before.
somebody. He wanted somebody competent.
I never thought I actually had investigated it myself before I came here. I could have done that actually.
So she will take a look at it, and even if you had done so, you would probably find out roughly the same thing. Let me take a look here. Oh, yeah, I can just go to this, because you will all see this eventually, but she would probably find the same things. She looks at it for a while and cross-references some of her texts, which number more than yours. I mean, yes, you were a gardener, but you didn't really progress within the guild quite as far as she has. And she just comes back and says that, I'm sorry, Ozil. I've never seen it. I've never seen its equal. I've never seen anything like it. It seems... It seems unreal. It seems impossible. That's all I can say. Its structures, its makeup, its genetic signature, nothing matches anything that we have.
That's very interesting. So from some absolute other place that we don't know about. That we have no records of. So it's not just, it's like it's inorganic almost, isn't it? Because it's not made of, like things to us are made of carbon, it's not just like it's made up of
I mean, this
different.
is definitely organic, but it's not in the same way as anything that we've grown or anything that we've seen on any of the number of planets that we have information on. But to be fair, there's much that we've lost in the diaspora. There's much knowledge that we no longer have.
We checked this thing for blight, didn't we?
Yeah, there's no blight on it.
Well, I'm quite tempted to grow one if, like, there's a seed in this little sample that I've got, and just to see if I can grow it. That's quite a curiosity.
So you can't do that, unfortunately.
No.
Because what you have are petals. You don't have the stamen or the seed-bearing part of the flower.
And we don't have, like, DNA technology.
No, not to the point where you could. I mean, you can do a bit of sequencing, but there's no reconstruction. Yeah.
Like modern day, we can.
Good thought though.
We can recreate a plant without its seeds. We've got good enough DNA technology to do that. We can do an animal. We can make lab-grown meat. But we don't have that in this. It's like 1800s tech, but with space.
Yeah.
Cool.
1800s tech with a little bit of space.
Just managed to make it out into space.
Just enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I will.
Okay, so
return back to my.
Go ahead.
To my crew.
Okay.
After seeing them.
So Osric, heading to First Servant Nima. What do you want to talk to her about?
first of all, make sure that everything is okay with her and that she's not been unduly affected by the fallout from what's happened. Obviously, she's spoken with Master Muska and appears to be getting on well with her. I just want to make sure that all is well generally as a consequence of the fallout from our expedition.
Yeah, so actually, as you interact with her, she says, "Oh yes, Mir Muska and I have been very closely engaging with each other." And she does use the honorific Mir, which is odd. As far as you know, Muska is not, nor ever was, a Coriolite, but maybe it's just a sign of respect that they've built over the past several days engaging with each other.
Could well be. Yes.
She has been quite helpful and has assisted me in making sure that, certain parties in the City of the Dead are under surveillance and that we are prepared to take them into custody if need be.
Very good.
On the will of the council, as it were, now that I have an ally amongst the guilds.
Could I just interrupt you real quickly, just so that I can check something? Where do I find the talents from this interface in Foundry? Remind me where I find the talents. The browse.
Core rules. If you go to core rules, then
Journal,
contents,
core rules,
and then section 3.
contents,
Core
section
mechanics.
3, talents. Yeah, there it is. I went right past it, David. Thank you, mate.
No trouble at all.
Thank you.
I am a librarian.
Having a read of this while you're doing your thing, mate.
Okay. Good. So that is all right. Do the Coriolis consider that the events surrounding the death of first servant Kerr have been settled?
Yes, I think we do. Sadly, well, not sadly, as you have dealt justice to the offending party, but sadly we could not do more. Also, it is very apparent, as I have had a couple of my more facile guardsmen look into the death of your Najar Levan at the request of your Master Muska, and it seems that I can now verify without a shadow of doubt that it was Davudan who murdered him as well.
Very good.
And at Muska's request, I will be prepared to provide that information to the council.
Has any attempt been made to find Davudan's hideaway, or have his quarters been checked?
He seemed to be a creature of impermanence. We've been able to find no indication that he kept rooms anywhere.
I will suggest that the guards investigate a certain medical facility and see whether they can get further information from that, because we believe he had mental implants to allow him to control heirloom technology. And
Thank you. I will have them look into that.
Thank you. Also, do the Coriolites have an interest in investigating shards? I do have access to a source which might be prepared to sell them for a reasonable sum.
Oh, well, I didn't want to overstep my bounds. I understand that we respect you as a Coriolite, of course, but I understand that membership in a guild carries some weight. But yes, there are Coriolites who have an interest in such things, collectors, the government itself. I don't know what I would call their government, but their own personal governing body, their council. I could be persuaded to purchase such from you.
Well, Certainly, I can pass any offers for such items back to those who have care of them for servants. And
At the current time, I can be. I believe I could pay as much as 200 ruck per shard of interest. All shards are of interest, I should say.
Okay, I shall take that offer back to the person concerned, first servant, and if there is anything else of which I could be of use, I'm of course at your service.
There is 2 minor things that I would request.
Certainly, Master.
If you could return my seal.
Ah, my apologies. I will take out the seal and the communicator that she gave me, and apologise for not handing them over immediately.
If you wouldn't mind with the communicator, you could pass that on to Master Muska.
Oh, certainly, first servant.
Very well. Well, as I've told you before, if ever you have the desire to return to the fold, please do let me know.
Thank you, first servant. It is a great honour. And then I shall return to Vermillion House and pass the communicator to Master Muska, and then return to the ship and say we've had an offer of 200 per shard.
Excellent.
Do they wish me to accept that offer and take them the shards, or do you wish to check your own sources?
I was going to speak to my guy, see if he could cough up a little bit more.
Be my
So,
guest.
just to smooth it out, the Mechanics Guild and the Navigators Guild, the most that they'll offer is 200.
The gardeners.
What if you try
also
to
the
twist their
Gardeners,
arm a little
200.
bit?
I'm
No,
sorry.
it's
I'm sorry. Why would we
There's got
offer?
to be a negotiation to this.
Why would we
surely.
offer it to the gardeners? They were sicking the bad guys onto us.
As Zorab
To be
said,
clear,
money's
they
money.
were just trying to get the tablet.
Money's money.
You still don't know quite why.
Yeah,
But-
after the tablet.
You should have some. I think you've been given enough to have some idea why they were after the tablet.
I've got a feeling. I've got a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, I think it was that they could get rid of the Grey Wardens and take over the dead of Ship City.
So they can do
They
this-
want
because they
as
want to do
The
fertilizer.
something.
compost.
They want to use
The
them as
compost.
fertilizer. Yeah, they've got.
Yeah, the compost.
They've got a big. What's the word? Incentive, motive. They've got a big motive to try and take over the Grey Wardens in their job
Yeah.
and their authority. Their
So,
jurisdiction, sorry.
yeah, I mean it's kind of up to you who you sell them to. It's not really gonna affect a whole lot. Although moving into Chapter 2, we do now also have faction rules. So you have a relationship with each faction that may come into play. So selling them shards might be helpful to that. I won't say one way or the other. It's your
But
decision.
even if I reach out, and same with obviously, Max, you made a deal with your Navigators Guild
Yeah.
for the 7 shards.
Well, he's already had.
Yeah,
that.
Navigators would also,
Yeah, right,
would also
okay,
pay
that-
like 200. Yeah.
Even if we don't sell to those guys, we've still interacted with them. If you see what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Well,
you've
why
all
not-
interacted with your guilds
What-
today.
Well, you've given 7 to the navigators, so why not sell 6 to each of the other 3? And then we've all gotten in with them for that.
I need to
Yeah,
find
get
out
it.
what my guy will offer first, because I know Brian, you said
He'll
the maximum
offer
they'll
up
give
to
is 200 email. Up to okay. Oh, there you go. Then.
As well
So we're
doing
gonna
a
get
bit here
200
and a bit there, just to keep the people a little bit.
shard
sweet,
anyway.
Yeah,
it's-
for
it's
now,
not
for now, to make it easy, everybody will offer you 200, except 100 is always the flat fee for the Explorers Guild.
Okay.
I mean, we
Now,
just
in
give
future, that might change depending upon whether or not your reputation slides up and down and
Reputations,
things like that.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so if we sell the 18 at 200, that's 3,600, which is another 720 each, correct?
Oh,
That's correct.
Nice maths, David.
I know. I'm doing it on my phone.
Faster than me, mate. I'm good at mental arithmetic, but that was faster than me, David. You're really good at mental arithmetic.
Well, I worked it out beforehand, before I actually spoke.
I don't. I
Don't give away your
freestyle. I
secrets.
freestyle. I'm off the dome with it. See.
Okay,
Okay,
would
so
I
the
be right
party's
in
all taken
thinking-
care of. Yep.
Would
go
I
ahead.
be right in thinking we all have all our hope and all our heart and all our health
Yep.
back?
Hope, heart, health, everything is
beautiful.
fully restored.
Does anybody have any problems resulting from breaking or otherwise? that
Rico's
we need
injury
to-
will be gone now as well, because that was just
Yep.
a matter of days
No.
to heal up.
Yep.
Wasn't it?
Max, your injury is gone. You can delete that affliction.
I just did.
Go back.
Okay.
We
Some
work
more?
on the talents tonight, right? Or do you want to do that? another
Yeah.
time?
Also during the week, you
Oh.
can spend all of the experience that
And
you've earned.
Things
on
that are
whatever you
broken,
wanna
like
spend it
climbing
on.
kits. Broken climbing kits. Can we fix them?
I can fix it. I fix it. I can fix it. If it needs to be fixed, I can
I mean,
fix
I'm gonna go buy. I'm
So,
gonna go buy 10 of them
for
anyway. But I'm just
those-
wondering.
For those, you have to make a roll because if you fail on the roll, they could be permanently damaged.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
What?
So.
Do you want to buy
anything
new
that
ones?
needs to be repaired.
I'll give you the coiler rifle as well, which I'm going to eventually give to Garida.
So I've
So
go.
here's
So the deep,
here's
sca-
what
the
I'll
deep
offer.
scanner and the thing. I've got a couple
Listen to
things
my
to do.
offer. For any items that are repaired, you can have them repaired professionally in the city for 1/10 of the value of the item,
Mhm. Or Rico
with
can
no
make a
chance of
roll
failure.
and maybe fail.
Or you can make a roll yourself, and if you fail, that's just what its rating is now.
I'm gonna leave it. No, for the deep scanner, I think we should go into town and pay for it. But then for everything
Yeah,
else, just get
that's
Rico
a-
to roll.
Yeah.
Nah,
I'll
actually-
think
Well,
about it.
Actually-
coiler rifles are pretty rare as well, but
Actually,
they can be repaired.
That's nearly $2,500, so I'll let you try and fix that, Matt.
Here's a
Okay,
here's a point as well. We've just all had everything refreshed. Max has got all his hope back for pushing anyway. Max, fix this shit, mate. On you
Eddie,
go. Do
well,
your thing.
well,
He
well,
can
let-
use his hope
not
every
gonna
day, right? So
yeah. So
Yeah,
it refreshes
yeah.
every day. So I've got.
That's actually a good point, and you're able to spend all the hope you want. Tell you what, just repair everything you have for free.
So I've got. So we just take off the.
You've got a
things to
whole
fix
week
it.
of downtime to do it. Oh no, you know what I'll do instead? What I will do instead is I will say that
How do
no,
I
I'll just give
undamage
it to
it?
you. You've got a whole week and a half.
So-
There's no reason why Max can't just chill out working on shit.
So it's
Yeah.
that. How do I undamage it in my sheet then?
So go
you-
in, right click on the item,
Yep. Edit.
edit,
Effects. No.
and
Configuration.
config. Set the bonus to what the maximum bonus is supposed
Yeah.
to be.
Got you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all you did. Goes up. I'm gonna start buying talents. Let's see what I want.
So am I.
Yeah, you can spend all of your experience. You're also going to have the opportunity to spend all of your crew points. You have
Yeah, we need
17 crew points.
I'd say we
And-
definitely need to mod the burn in.
Shall we- Is it worth us taking a half-time break and doing this in the break, or
Well, not doing it in the break because I want people to know what talents we're taking, but
discuss?
we can have a think about what
Have a
we're doing
discussion.
during the break because we'll have
Yeah,
fun
we can
take a break.
discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can discuss and talk
about
about it.
that time. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll make it smoother when we do add them because we'll be ready to just.
That's what I
go
mean. So
this,
that
this, this,
yeah,
this, and
instead of
this.
us, yeah.
Sounds good to me. It's about that time for a half-time break anyway.
okay.
Shall we? That work for you,
sounds
Brian?
good. Yeah,
Right. Stay tuned, Twitch. We'll be back in about 13 minutes where we're going to get loads of new stuff. See you soon. And we're back. Hello.
Whoa.
hello.
And we did loads in the
Okay.
break. We did loads. We were not just being lazy and having a piss and making a cuppa. We actually did loads of other stuff as well.
So let's go through and hear what talents everybody has bought. I'll start with Dave. What'd you get?
Me, Dave, or David,
Yeah.
Dave.
You're Dave.
You,
He's
Dave.
David.
You're Dave. He's David.
I have gone with I increased my hope, so I've gone for level 2 hopeful. So I'm now up to 8 hope, and I also got Ruined Delver, which obviously helps out when doing a delve, and Lone Wolf, which is if I get broken by despair, I can roll for insight and help myself.
And you've switched to using a primarily light delving suit, is that right?
Yes, I have put the light delving suit on.
That's what I use.
David, what did you pick up?
I decided to try and be useful. Quartermaster. I basically bought 5 level 1 talents. So
Oh, wow.
quartermastery, level 1, which should help setting up camps. Archaeology, which is for delving. Investigator, medic, and field surgeon.
Nice.
Medic gives me help when trying to help someone broken by damage, and field surgeon is useful when trying to stabilize a critical injury.
Very handy. Okay. Max, do you pick up any talents?
Oh yeah, I picked up 4 level 1s. I picked up Dirty Fighter. It's mostly you just never know when I'm out weapons. I got loose increase in my base of my fists. I took Thug because that's really useful. It's basically I can roll my strength instead of empathy when I'm threatening somebody. Took Blight Resistant because with all the blight I had to deal with for the last duel, that makes good sense. Then I took a level 1 pistol air because I'm only using pistols. I'm not gonna be using like big rifles and stuff. I'm either like big hammer or gun. I'm like, okay.
Now, are you gonna? I mean, obviously you do what you want, but you know the difference now between wearing an exo and wearing a delving suit.
Yes, yes, yes. I know.
Oliver, what'd you pick up?
So I took the first level of Hopeful, which gives you 1 more hope, which put my hope from 8 to 9. And then I took the second level of Hopeful, which puts my hope from 9 to 10. So I spent 5 XP on the first level and 10 XP on the second level. I spent 15 XP on the 2 levels, on the first 2 levels of Hopeful. There are 3 available. So I've now got a sort of hope stat of 10 instead of 8.
Can be useful. Hope has been an issue for you guys in the past.
Hope's
so,
rerolls.
They also did some shopping and stuff
They
like
did some
that. They
shopping.
also improved Ashes. Ashes now has Phoenix Engine, which will allow Ashes to return if it is killed.
Mortally wounded.
And they gave Ashes 2 more points of energy, I think, so that they can use the Soul Delve.
Soul
as-
Delve more
because
times. Aye, 'cause
they have a
we
that's,
need
problem
that
with
more.
Hope.
that's a very handy thing, Soul Delve.
Oh yeah.
Using that
Okay.
more often is useful.
So, after doing all of your shopping, taking some time off, learning some things, you get a call to have a meeting with Muska in Vermillion House.
And this is on the second
This
of
is it's now
Aldebaran.
Aldebaran the Second. So yeah, I'll just read you the opening for this. The warm wind of the chasm caresses your faces as the cable cage rattles across the gorge at the heart of Ship City. Let's go to the chasm, since we're talking about that. Let's see, where was I? Below, the deep shadows of the ravine flicker with movement. Gliders drifting through the haze, cables with lanterns. Man, my eyesight is bad. Can I zoom into this? Oh, yay, I can. Thank goodness. Cables with lanterns swaying in the wind and the occasional glint of shard light from the lower bridges. The scent of cinnamon and arash and fried shrooms fades behind you as the bustle of the Lotus Ring recedes, replaced by the dry stillness of the Sixth Ring. Ahead, your destination rises from the edge of the chasm. Vermillion House, once a hospital, its sand-colored stone walls and arched windows convey a sense of dignity. Now it serves as the headquarters of the Explorers Guild, your guild. You've been summoned by Master Muska to discuss the findings of your last mission. As the cable cage reaches the courtyard, you feel the heavy weight of expectations bearing you down. So obviously you've all been here before, of course. I just wanted to read that to get us going off. And Muska is not in her office. In fact, she has called you to her study, which is just off of her office. It's a decent library. It has a stunning view of the chasm. The walls are lined with bookshelves, maps, artifacts, even old delving gear. And as you enter, she's studying a map of the latest find on Mabara 4 with a smoking hot cup of tea next to her. A rack, of course, is perched nearby, this time atop a pile of books, seemingly disregarding the importance of the texts that he is resting upon. And she offers you some tea, as well as a chair around the several comfortable chairs around the room.
I'll have some tea. I love how nonchalant her bird is. How does her bird react to our bird? Because I assume you just have the birds just chilling on your shoulder in times like this, Osric, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. How do they interact with each other at all? I may have asked this before, actually.
Not that you can tell, but again, birds seem to be able to communicate wordlessly at times.
But they don't show any sign that they're... Okay.
From all that you can tell, Iraq seems to essentially not even recognize that Ashes exists. Like, you never see them looking at each other. There's no response between them.
Iraq is the nonchalantest of birds in the world, apparently. It just doesn't give a shit about anyone.
I mean, that's probably a pretty fair assessment. So yeah, she invites you to sit, and then she tells you again that she's very impressed with what you've been doing. She hopes that you will continue to investigate this matter. Obviously, she can't force you to. Well, not exactly. She could. She is the guild master. But as Muska generally is, she asks that you continue investigating. But as you're all seated, she hands you each a copy of a report for you to look at, indicating that they've done some research on the artifacts that they've recovered. So let me open your journal. Nope. That's the one. And ownership to owner. There you go.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm going to zoom in a bit, as in move my face. From Master
What, no, you can
Orlov,
make-
Research and
I thought you make it
History
bigger.
Branch. Spinward Wing, can I?
Yeah, a
make
little
it
bit.
bigger?
Yeah, it should. Pull on
Okay.
the sides, I guess.
To Master Muska, Master Rudaver, and Master Armatala. Regarding the find below the City of the Dead, info, fellow masters. It is no overstatement to begin this report by pointing out the exceptional nature of these recent finds. In fact, I can think of no more extraordinary discovery since the discovery of the Cave of Sirah. The particulars of this find are perplexing, to say the least. The facts of the matter are this: the body. At the centre of the chamber, on a raised platform, was a humanoid figure, mummified but remarkably well preserved. The figure wore a white, archaic vacuum suit, marked with the insignia of the Nadier, the Ark ship declared lost during the voyage to the Old Horizon. The helmet bore the crescent and star emblem now widely recognised, and a shoulder patch on the left arm reading Nikovar, in a script similar but not identical to the language of the Old Horizon. The person appears to have died approximately 500 years ago, thus predating the arrival of the diaspora by more than 300 years. The body has been transferred under full seal, bless you, to the Explorers Guild archives for further analysis. The flower. A specimen of a dried flower was found in a synthetic pouch in the left suit leg of the mummy. This flower matches no record from the Gardener's Guild. Sphere. Cradled in the figure's hands was a small black sphere, perfectly smooth, cold to the touch, and roughly the size of an apple. It emitted a faint, irregular shimmer before activation. Upon contact, a shrill sound was heard, followed by the emission of a high-frequency signal across several known and unknown bands. All nearby electronics, including those within Ship City, experienced a temporary shutdown. The systems recovered a few minutes later with no lasting damage. The object is believed to be a singulatory sphere, a suspected builder artifact likely to have been used as some sort of communication device. It is estimated to date back approximately 500,000 years, likely from the late era. Signal. Evidence suggests that the sphere did not merely broadcast a signal but also received one. Initial analysis indicates that the signal was directed towards an unknown system or receiver. However, triangulation of the signal's point of origin will require at least 2 additional spheres. Until then, its destination and any response remain unconfirmed. Curiously, the Astrolab detected several signal pings that seem to be connected with the activation of the sphere in all 4 systems of the Hammurabi arm: Gahand, Ninhulim, Habanutum, and Arugua. Sorry. The sphere has been secured under controlled conditions within the Explorers Guild archives. Full study is ongoing. In truth and service, Master Orlov. Security level high.
So you guys should have that in your crew journal now, if you
Okay.
ever want to reference that again.
Okay.
And Master Muska asks you all, does that report track with your experiences?
I nod.
Really spot on, I think.
100%, it's spot on, yeah.
Yeah, well, so what they're saying is that they need a couple more of these spears to triangulate where the signal went, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is the
What-
consensus of the Masters, yes, Rico.
And it says there's 4 pings of 4 other areas where there might be these spheres.
Indeed.
Fun time.
So I
That lot?
ask,
Big
would you...
David, you're on mute. Sorry, David's trying to say something, he's on mute.
I don't think you realize that.
Sorry, was that 1 ping in each of the 4 systems, or more than 1 ping?
1 ping
each
in
of the
4 systems, I think.
I think it's 1 ping in 4
in
systems.
in each of 4. Yeah.
That's not what the report says.
No.
Hang on, let me pull the report
It
back
says
up myself.
several pings in each of the 4 systems.
Correct.
So is it
So
1 ping in each system, or
Okay.
more than 1?
it's several is correct. And Muska says it's possible that many of
In
those
all
pings,
4 systems. So in all the
many of those
systems.
pings might be false positives. But regardless, the pings seem to be leading us to those systems.
So it's elimination, matter of
Understood.
eliminating the faults and finding the right ones first off. But
So does
Right.
that mean that we would need to take the sphere to each of those systems to generate local pings? Or is there sufficient accuracy to say where in the system those pings are from here?
Well, we're working on that. The hope is that by using those pings and traveling to those systems and searching, we can find at least 2 additional spheres to be able to triangulate a point of origin for the return signal.
Are we the only team sent out?
Well, as I'm sure you know, in order to, and you as people might not know this, but your characters would, in order to reach those locations, it would take an expedition, and there are only so many ships that can be sent. As it stands, I believe a ship is being retrofitted for the use by your team, and a crew is being put together. You will be one team amongst a group, but, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I would like you to attend the Council of Special Affairs for a hearing on the matter. It's actually later this afternoon, which is why I called you in this morning.
Very good. Is there likely to be ongoing interference from other guilds that we should be concerned about?
Yeah, wait,
We
espionage
already
or
know the
something
answer
for
to
that?
that, David. We already know the answer to that, mate.
I'm assuming the answer's yes,
We
but
know the
Yeah, the more
answer.
likely have guys among the crew they're getting, so we're gonna be worried about covering our backs.
It's the gardeners
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
The official answer might be no. but The
Interference is an
unofficial answer will be
interesting
100%.
word. I, at this point, would like to prefer to think of it as cooperation rather than interference.
If they want to cooperate.
An interesting way to put it.
But just that we should make sure to secure any items that are found to prevent them going astray. Would that be fair description, Master?
To the best of your ability in the circumstance, yes. Again, I don't want to overstep my bounds. The hearing will provide you with more information.
Very good.
Of course, Master.
So, assuming you're all willing to go to the hearing,
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Muska is going as well, but she makes it known to you as you travel up to Astrolabe Tower and the council chambers that you are the ones that are primarily being engaged within the hearing. She has already made several depositions and engaged with the special counsel.
No, they want to talk to us.
She is just there as a representative of the Explorers Guild. You are the stars of the show, is what she says.
So just to clarify,
Yeah.
Master, that
Right.
this hearing is going to be about the expedition and not what went on last couple of weeks.
It will
So,
also be
yeah.
about what went on in the past couple of weeks.
So are we advised to... Do they know what went on and everything's fine? We can talk about everything, or is there anything you would like us to maybe
Oh man,
That is a very
Yeah.
good question.
mention?
She says, the council knows what I know. You may speak freely. There should not be any questioning along a line of, say, occurrences in Aluminum Bay. But if there is, I will intervene.
what about the activation of the device?
Well, the report mentions that. Does
The
the
council knows what I know.
Okay.
Does the council have a copy of that report?
Do you know it was you, Rico?
As you read the report, you'll notice it was to Master Muska and 2 other masters.
Yeah.
From
Right,
3 other
so-
masters.
Master Rudaver and Master Armatella.
Yep.
Which guilds are they?
Who are? Do we know who they are?
You know what? That's a good question. So that is
Hopefully
an
not the
excellent
gardeners.
question.
he did it. Exactly. That's me.
I'll have to
That's
come
me.
back to you with that one because that one
Yeah.
is not immediately clear in the text to me at this moment. I will find out.
Okay.
But it is 2 other guilds. And again, this is a guild hearing, so all guilds are represented.
Yep.
Very good. So in other words, at least 2 guild masters know that it's been activated. One's
They have the report,
in
yes.
Ship City.
So at least
Is
two
it
masters
worth,
know that Rico
before we
touched the
go,
thing.
is it worth us having a nominated speaker that they direct the questions at, so we're not all
Anybody but me.
tapping in and...
Yeah, I look at Idris and I'm like looking at you. I think that's you, my buddy. I think that's you.
I'm like,
Which
Unless,
is
I mean, that's
fine.
not a horrible idea unless you're asked a question specifically as an individual.
Exactly, yeah. That's unless you're asked a direct question, that then
Yeah.
nothing's off the table. They know
Yeah.
what's in the report. They know what happened. The only thing we want to keep away from is what went down in Aluminum Bay. We sidestep that landmine if it comes up. We don't
And it
offer
it
anything
probably
unless
won't,
asked.
is what
Exactly.
she says.
Don't
yeah.
offer any information unless we're asked about anything. Don't offer anything freely. Just
Biff,
People I've spoken
you, anything to do with the tablet or the finding underneath the City of the Dead, you can offer things freely. Again, unless
Grey
it's something
Wardens,
that you
things like
haven't.
that?
She peeks her eyebrows. She says, "Unless it's something you haven't told me yet."
No, I think we told her
You
everything.
are fully
I
aware of everything.
shall.
What do you mean we think we
Ask-
told her everything, Rico? We told her
I
everything.
No, I don't know.
No,
It's like
no.
I don't remember everything. I don't know exactly. Everybody told her everything. I just been here. I'm like,
That's not your job, that's not your job to remember stuff, eh?
no. No, but he did
Uh,
have a question. Sorry, is it for who we're having a meeting with? Is it just the guild masters? Nobody outside of the their other guilds will be there?
So it's not the guild masters. It is a council of special circumstances with guild representatives, but it is not the actual guild masters.
Okay.
I
David.
shall inquire as to whether there's been any fruit born of her discussions with First Servant Nima. I'm aware that they've been having tea. I had mentioned to First Servant Nima that Davudon had been involved with a particular medical place in Chip City, and that should be investigated, and she was going to get her guards to look into it. I wonder whether anything had been heard about that. With regard to ancient technology,
Yes.
brain implants, etc.
She hasn't passed any information on to me about that as yet, no. But it may have only been a couple of days since you had that conversation with her, so...
True, yeah.
Okay, so would you like to go
Fair
to the
enough.
hearing?
No, but I'm going.
No,
Oh,
but I
okay.
think we must.
It's a social
Very well.
event. I don't do well in social events.
I'm hiding behind Rico. Rico touched the thing.
I'm hiding behind you.
So the council chambers are shaped like an oval, vaulted auditorium dominated by a massive crescent-shaped table that appears to be made of real wood. The wood's meandering grain winds through deep, time-worn scratches, most masked beneath layers of dark lacquer. 3 figures are seated along the table with shadows of hovering aids in the murk behind them. The twin odors of Sira and Kawa linger like an invisible cloud in the stale air. Weak
Is anybody
strands.
actually using at the moment? Yeah, are they smoking or anything?
Yeah, I mean, there might be
Oh,
a couple of them that
In that
Yeah.
case, I will feel that it's okay for me
Okay.
to smoke.
are. For sure, yeah.
Pull out my pipe.
I shall calm my nerves.
Weak strands of light shine through the heavy drapes covering the windows facing the chasm, screening the chambers from the bustle outside. The members of the council introduce themselves to you as Milrook Gand, and representative of the Navigators Guild. I is a fairly high statement. Rico, you don't know this person. You were never quite that high in the Navigators Guild, so...
He gets the navigator signals like hello.
Okay, that's fair. The second is Nefli Bar Ezraville. Ezraville. A high gardener and representative for the Gardeners Guild. And the last is Vesla Samarand, Synod and representative for the Machinists Guild.
Vesla.
Vesla Samaran, Samaran.
And what guild was that? Sorry?
Synod and
Machinists.
representative for the Machinists Guild.
Machinists. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting choices. Navigators, gardeners, and machinists. Okay.
So, Milrook stands, says, "If you would, be seated."
I try to be careful I don't break the chair. I'm like, okay.
Please don't.
So,
Rico.
I'm saying I'm worried about don't break the chair.
Muska, you'll notice, does not sit at the table. She seats herself like in kind of an audience-esque type area.
It must-
She's still relatively nearby, but
It must be noted that I'm nervously picking at my fingernails, definitely.
Okay. Okay. So once you seat yourself and seem, I don't know if comfortable is the right word, but seated fully, Milrook says simply that they are going to ask you a series of questions, and all they ask is that you be honest.
Mhm.
And afterwards, there will be additional discussion.
I'm not sure Edris is the right person if we're supposed to be honest, but never mind. We said he could do the talking.
What? No,
I will be honest.
Wow.
no.
Don't you worry.
He's the phase, but Osric, you're
You
the
worry.
mind. So if there's something smart he needs to say, you can look at Osric, something smart to say.
Do you
Don't you
do you
worry.
want to speak up and inform them as to your decision to have a speaker?
We can
the
do.
group?
I mean, I'll say. I've forgotten the guy's name
As
already, I do
leader, you can
apologise.
field the questions and
Milrook.
ask the experts.
Milrook, I'm happy to field any questions, but if you do have any directed at my colleagues, they are more than happy and capable to answer as well. So
That is acceptable, Explorer. I will direct my questions. Then
Those were
to
both
you.
lies. Those last two things you said were both lies.
roll empathy.
And Milrook is very matter of fact. She
Happy to
looks
do it.
you
I'm
evenly in the
competent.
eye. No signs of really anything. You almost get the sense that for her this is interesting, but also kind of just like a job she has to do.
like
right?
half of the course, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
She says, "How did you come to locate the vault under the Well of Souls?"
Through a series of different events, we did some research, which led us to that area.
And can you be more specific?
Look at Osric.
I can. We got the location by the tablet told us, by taking the tablet to the monolith. That told us. Is that right? We took a tablet to a monolith, and the monolith told us
and we're
to go there.
glued and yep.
If you want
So those
Osric to give
Thank
the
you,
answer,
thank you, Osric, thank
Yeah,
you.
I was like, Osric,
That-
get the Coriolis, and he like.
Okay, in that case, I will inform them that as part of an investigation for Master Muska into the death of a member of the guild, we came into possession of an item which appeared to have been stolen by other parties from the library, a tablet which we were led to believe would activate a monolith on the surface of Ship City. We duly took it there, and it pointed us. It highlighted a point below the well. I was able, through research in the archives, to find information pointing to an access route down to that part of the well, and that then led us down, led by my esteemed colleagues.
Very well. Moving on. And this is back to Edris, since you've declared yourself as a speaker. What do you believe is the purpose of the sphere?
Good question. What do I believe it to be? I believe it's a piece of technology that I don't have any understanding of, and I think the majority of people that look at this item don't have an understanding of. So I really am not the best to answer that question. Maybe one of my more learned colleagues might offer a better answer, but
Who is it that activated the
I'll
sphere?
speak up at this point. I'll say I think it's a communications device.
Communications with whom?
That I don't
what?
know.
So she thinks on that for a moment, and then very quickly takes in all of you and says, "Where is the Nadier?"
I look at everybody else and like, oh.
Well, I do not know. My colleague Ozil told us that he had the impression that a message had been sent and responded to. Given that the sphere was in the hand of a crewman from the Nadier, the logical answer would be that it was a message to the Nadier. But since we have no knowledge as to what the message was and where it was sent, we have no idea where the Nadier might be.
She shakes her head and sits and waves to the next person, who happens in this case to be the High Gardener, Nefel.
Uh-huh.
Nefel stands, and I don't know how you would take to this question being the first she asks, but she says, "How old is the mummy? How long has it been dead?"
We don't know. It's very old.
That's not true.
In the report, it says 500
Yeah,
years.
in the report it says it's about 500 years, but that's not us that deduced that. We didn't do that research. We didn't test
You've read
it.
the report, though.
We've read the report.
You can trust your people.
Yeah, so we think it's about 500 years old.
Okay. And how do you believe it got there in the first place?
He traveled down there from what I look at the other two.
Well, there are a couple of options. One might be that the Nadier visited this asteroid on its travels. Another might be that, rather than just a communication device, that sphere might be some sort of transport mechanism, and inadvertently or advertently, it may have transported the crewman there. Or there might be other technology involved which may have been used. I have no idea at this stage, Mistress. We are all guessing in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Since you've been most verbose in your response to her, she looks directly at you and says, "How do you propose we continue the investigation of the mummy and the sphere?"
The report mentioned pings, Mistress. I believe it would be sensible to investigate what has been observed to identify what those pings are. If it is further technology, then that may shed light on matters. If it is more of those spheres, the report indicated that they could be used to triangulate whatever the direction of the messages. We have no knowledge of any further means of investigation unless more has been discovered in the vault that the spacesuit was in. In the absence of further information, the pings, as I can see it, are the only means of taking things further.
She nods at you and looks to her left as she takes a seat. Any who wasn't speaking and maybe looking around will have noticed that the Synod Samaran seemed largely uninterested in any of this until people started talking about the sphere or technology or things like that. And then he suddenly became much more interested. He quickly asks you, rapid fire, probably before you even have a chance to answer, the same questions. What happened exactly? Where was the sphere activated? Be detailed, please. But, how do you know the sphere received a signal from the outside? But also, why did Ship City lose power suddenly? Can it happen again? I ask you, what happened exactly?
I look at the others, and I'm like,
Tell them exactly what happened.
I
Told you
can
everything
tell
that
you,
happened.
as an external observer, I can tell you the physical effects. But the mental effects, and my friend Oziel is the only one who can describe those.
I felt as if I felt like a message had been sent and heard or responded to it, and it was just a feeling that I got when I touched the sphere, and that's the best way I can describe it to you.
As far as the physical effects, all we can report is that there was an unknown period where we weren't, I believe we weren't aware of time passing. It may have been a localized effect, but batteries had been drained, etc., and we had to spend time.
I wonder, and I'm thinking out loud in front of my colleagues in the court now, I wonder if the power drain on Ship City was a sudden surge. That power was used to suddenly amplify a signal. And I am thinking out loud in front of you all here with that.
I mean, that's.
If,
I think that's
if
possible.
this- If
The
this
two
sphere
happened at the
was-
same time.
Understood. The sphere may well have used local resources to carry out whatever its task was, but the report did mention that this is not a sphere from the Nadier. This is old technology from 500,000 years ago, and it is unlikely that the Nadier would understand what it could do. At a mere
So,
1,000
yeah.
years ago.
So
So its
it was
purposes,
probably found by the
its-
Nadier.
Possibly. As to whether it could happen again, I'm not a member of your guild, and
Maybe they
I
found
would
it here.
merely
Maybe
say-
maybe the
I would
Nadier
merely
found
say
it
that
here.
you should treat it with care when you're experimenting with it.
Maybe the Nadier's been
100%.
by here, found it here, and left one guy with it, and the Nadier's been and gone. It may have been here, and this guy was left over from the Nadier being here. Maybe. I'm not sure.
We don't know if it's been lost by whoever had it first. We don't know if it's a natural occurring thing, or we don't know if it's been stolen, as the other three. That
Very well,
signal
very
it
well.
sent out, it could have
Very
alerted
well.
something.
Very well, the sign-out says. And
You've got us going now.
I
Let
think he
us go.
appreciates me thinking
We've
out
got to
loud.
keep talking.
he says, if you'll excuse us, we have a few things to discuss.
Okay.
And they all leave the chamber for a few minutes. Do you guys
Yeah,
want to talk about anything before they
No,
come back?
actually, I do want to say something. It's like I'm surprised they didn't say anything about the wardens. Didn't ask us about any
Never
about them.
mentioned it.
It doesn't mention the wardens in the report.
Doesn't
Yeah,
in the
yeah, but they didn't.
report,
They didn't.
no.
They didn't ask about it either.
We never mentioned them.
They only know what's in the report.
I've not said anything about them.
I've not mentioned them.
No,
I
Is
will
Muska still with
go.
us?
I will go
Is
over
Muska
to
still
Master
here?
Muska and check.
Yeah,
and
Muska's
make
still here.
sure- I will
Yeah.
go over to her and check and make sure quietly we didn't say anything we shouldn't.
Should have kicked
So,
one of
no,
us,
you-
I'm sure.
You did quite
Probably
well.
give
under
us
the
a dead
table.
glare.
Very good. Thank you, Master.
I think we kept that pretty to the report. I
I
mean,
think
they were
so.
asking a lot of speculation questions that we couldn't possibly know the answer to, but
Well,
harmless, I think.
Well, it's just I know why they're discussing this one, but it's like as what Master Muska was talking to us about, we're more likely to have to go each of the systems, and that'd be multiple planets, more than likely.
Can't wait.
If we want to.
We are explorers
Well, I-
after all.
Well, I know. I'm just saying is that are we gonna be the only team sent out there?
No,
or
we're not.
are we,
Remember,
like, the
there's
head
go-
team.
there's going to be more than one
Part of a
team.
group.
Yeah, part of a group. But
Okay.
we'll
Part
be
of
the
the
ones.
group,
That,
but you might be the only explorers.
we'll be the ones that find the stuff because we are legend. We are the Crimson Raiders. We find the shit
Okay.
that we're looking for.
Yes. We do have to be concerned about the cooperation of the other teams.
Yeah.
Cooperation. Let's see how that goes.
That's the word Master
They'll be-
Muska
that-
used.
That is the word
They'll be
Master Muska
concerned with
used.
our cooperation as well, don't forget. I'm sure.
So no. So what? No, I have a question.
Perhaps. Oh, go ahead.
No, no, say they wouldn't send any Zapi with us, would they?
on an expedition? No.
Oh, I did not know. I didn't know
That
they
is
were
a
like,
Ship City thing only, so they don't have any
Uh-huh.
jurisdiction off of Ship City even.
No. I don't
The
think so. I
question
mean, I'll have to check the manifest, but I don't think so.
The question is which of the other guilds decide to send teams along on the ship.
We know the Coriolites have got
Gardener's Guild will be going about.
the Gardeners have got skin in the game. The Coriolites have got skin in the game.
The Coriolis are not a guild, please.
they're a faction.
But they're a
They're a
faction.
faction of multiple
They're a
gear.
faction, as the guilds are factions. The Coriolites
So
are a
it's
faction.
interesting that you mentioned that, because in the back corner of the hall, you do notice, maybe you've been too focused on the hearing until now,
Some
but you
shady
do
in the corner
notice
with a mascot. Aye.
a couple of Coriolites,
Aye.
one of
course.
which, even the rest of you will recognize her mask, is First Servant Nima.
I look at over at Osric. Are we good?
The other is someone you don't recognize, but they are not a Grey Warden.
Okay.
Well, since she hasn't introduced herself to the team, I will not introduce myself to her. She is here as an observer.
Here's a sneaky
talk
spy.
No,
No.
they're
no,
not
no, no.
hiding. They're just clearly not a part of what's
they can be
happening,
there,
but they are
but they-
allowed to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the background. They're like little
Ozil,
background characters.
Ozil, the spy was the second person to ask questions.
That's interesting.
Interesting you say that.
Yeah, he's looking at
So-
your own guild control. Huh?
Perhaps
She was
long
a god.
enough. Yeah, perhaps long enough for you to become uncomfortable. The three
Sarah
return.
again.
I'm already uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable already too.
And they have a
don't give a
seat.
shit.
And again, Milruk Gand stands and clears his throat and says, "We have listened to what you've said today and read the report from the Explorers Guild. While we admit that the find below the City of the Dead is astonishing, we do not consider this definitive proof that the Ark ship Nadier is still out there. However, there is a slight possibility that the signal from the artifact could lead us to the Nadier, or what remains of it. Therefore, it is the will of this council and of the Grand Council of Ship City and Jumua that an expedition be undertaken to find out more about the signal sources found or around the systems of the Hammurabi arm. This council decides that you, and at this point you're getting the sense that this is very like official sounding.
Very much
You're
so.
wondering if something is being recorded. This council decides that you, Garida Oskal, Edris Varo, Osric Mibo, Rico Saldin, and Ozil Kazorla of the Crimson Raiders crew will have the role of special advisors on this expedition. The Council will provide a slipstream-capable ship that will operate under the jurisdiction of the Council of Special Affairs and the Explorers Guild. We expect nothing but greatness from you. The Diaspora's future may well rest in your hands. May the blessings of the three be with you, and the icons show you mercy. And with that, the council is
Bow
over.
politely.
The counselors stand. They're not in a rush to leave.
Bow or salute or
but
whatever's
the
appropriate.
explorers
In fact, no, I do the opposite
Are
of whatever's appropriate. I do the wrong
asked
thing.
to leave the chamber.
Okay.
No
okay.
problem. Hey, I'd say get some drinks.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
So
hit the
you're
bar.
led out of the
go
chamber
smoke some
into another
drugs.
room
That was stressful.
where, and you'll notice that Muska remains. Muska does not come with you, nor does First Servant Nima and the unknown Coriolite. They remain in the chambers with the rest of the counselors. But in a secondary room, you see several of the aides that have been supporting the council members in the chamber, if you wish to ask any question.
Not really for me.
I love that you
Do
thought
they have
out
a crew
loud.
list for the Slipstream ship yet, please?
Or do you know what guilds would
Command
be going?
structure.
Or
Yes, the Slipstream cruiser, the Aander, is currently being retrofitted in the dry dock. She'll be ready to depart within a week.
Jolly good. Do they have the crew list yet?
We
do
have a crew list, as a
jolly
matter
good.
of fact. I can go over that now with you if you would like.
What, like, so I'm not gonna say, what, like, when he said that we were advisors, does that mean, like, we're just advising, or do we actually have
We're-
roles?
We're in
this?
charge, mate. We're advising people what to do, telling them what to do, advising them what to do. We're advisors. I advise you to fuck off. I'm your advisor. Like
You will be
supervisor.
representatives and special advisors for the Explorers Guild, so your say in the expedition will be substantial.
That's why I wanted the crew list, to see where our little box fitted in the organisation chart.
So the crew is already assembled, and I can pull up that list and kind of go through it very quickly with you. I'll provide you a written copy of it later. But you are also free to recruit 3 extra specialists. There's room for 3 additional people if you can think of any you would like to recruit. As far as the existing crew, though, let me pull that up and go over that with you for a moment.
I mean, some more extra guards wouldn't be bad. An extra guard or something.
Let's see. Is there a
Agreed.
manifest? Oh, that's what I want to look at.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause we can handle a lot of the other stuff.
I don't know, a chemist, because the drugs are quite good in this game.
Oh, those are blueprints. Isn't there a-
Maybe a wee chemist in the crew. I'm quite enjoying the drugs in this system.
Do they not have the expedition book? Alright, I guess I'm gonna have to grab it. Give me 1 second, guys.
No problem, bud.
Ooh, he's going into he's going into different books and stuff, showing off.
Yeah, it's like the whole
Well-
like entire wall.
There are 2 separate books for the campaign. One is the main book, but they also included an expedition book. I don't quite know why they didn't just print it all together, but they didn't. That's
To
fine.
sell 2 books? That's why, mate.
Well, no, they're both
Yeah.
in the box set.
That's in the box set. It's like the little separate like little.
Yeah, this campaign is a box set.
Oh, yeah.
Well, presumably so that you can give the rule book to the other players at the table,
And you can
but
have a
keep the
GM book.
expedition book to yourself.
Both of them have GM stuff in them, I think, though.
Yes, but is the player stuff in the expedition set?
I don't think so.
Well,
Or
no,
just in the main
there's
rule?
GM stuff in both books. So, like, there's stuff I don't want you to see in both of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's alright, you can trust us.
Oh, well, sure.
Some
I can
of
show
us.
you a picture
Some
of the
of us.
Aander. Do you
You can
want to
trust
see?
some of us.
Do you want to
Yes,
see a
yes,
picture
please.
of the ship you'll be on?
Yeah.
Go on.
I'm
Yeah.
curious to see what the shape of the ship looks like.
This
I'm
is
hoping
the
it's
Aander.
phallic. Phallic. Mm,
It
A
looks
little,
like
maybe.
it looks like a what the fuck is it? Asparagus. It looks like an asparagus.
an asparagus tip. Aye. 100% mate,
yeah.
aye.
Okay, now I am gonna prepare this as a document for you later that you'll have access to, but since you've asked, I will run through the crew in their positions, and then you can start thinking about if there's anyone else you might want to recruit. The command crew
Chemistry
is
2 dogs.
6. There is Captain Sab Amido Doulas, First Officer Indria Kander, Master Algebraist Elanin Ronis.
I'm not writing all these down.
No, you don't have to. I'm gonna provide you a
Absolutely
thing.
not.
Master, keep an eye. Listen to the titles though. Master Engineer Gita Haspor,
So that's someone from the Engineers Guild.
Master Sentinel
Machine.
Orchid
Machinist Guild.
Belichan,
That's probably good. That's probably the Gardener's Guild.
and Harat. I'm not quite sure what Harat is as a title. I'll have to see if that tracks anything. Yevgola Almasay Mirzamusa.
Oh, a Coriolis. Ah, yeah.
More likely, probably.
So there's like one
Then
from
try-
every faction, eh?
So we're
That's,
some of the
that's
first
the commanding crew.
So were some of the first guys from the Navigators Guild? Just from the
There's
sound of it?
there's a master algebraist, a master engineer, and a master sentinel, which is the three major guilds, and then Herat, which I assume is a Coriolite position, because that's the Coriolite.
The title for it.
You have a cargo crew of 7: Yahoud Zort, Gerber Zort, Dima Jal, Largo Kima, Sanadir, Loni Mitax, and Ranis Varel. The first several are cargo specialists, and Ranis Varel is the dock tug pilot.
Right, okay.
there's
Pilot's the docking tug.
there's
There's a little thing.
There is a small tug that, allows them to dock. Then for maintenance, you have hull scrubber lead Tail Grimmin,
Ooh, that's a great job.
Scrubber Ixo Finland, Scrubber Miran Tusk, Scrubber Dinra Bilef, Ventilation Steward Sala Tibar, Grav Shaft Inspector Nadrej Halik, Sanitation Lead Frey Denoro, Sanitation Crew Palinjar, and Gofa Belaine, Interior Maintenance Tech Urin Mall, Lift Systems Shifa Nomel, Outer Hatch Mechanic Cole Junat, Waste Compactor Rez Tannen, and Crawl Space Rover Bitsy Mar.
What was the first bunch of crew you read out after the commanding officers? It was the
The labor.
You had
Cargo crew.
the
command,
cargo crew.
cargo.
That was the one with the,
and then-
we had siblings in one of them. I just wanted to point that out. Somebody's got siblings.
Yahound
remember
Zort and Gerber Zort, yep.
Yeah.
Probably siblings, could be
siblings or father and son or
mother,
something like
difficult
that.
to say,
But we know we've got
Um,
two close family members, so that we can exploit that.
yeah.
Are we allowed to take our ship with us and rover, or is that not going with us?
Aye, because this is a big
yes.
slipstream ship.
This
that
is a
we can just
slipstream cruiser. Your
plug
ship
onto.
will be there with you. Yeah.
Okay.
We just dock onto this.
Um,
This is like a ferry that can go through slipstreams, and we're like a car
Kinda,
that goes
yeah.
onto a ferry.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Flight crew. There's a pilot. I can keep going with the names if you want, or I can just name off like the crew positions.
Is
There's
it 60 in total?
Let me do a quick count. 6.
I think
Because
about 40.
it says 60 souls
7,
Yeah,
on
it
the
does say
sheet.
60
14,
souls
that's
there.
27, 31, 34, 40, 50.
Yeah. The blueprint handout is very cool, actually.
60.
Very, very cool.
70. So it's over 60. You're over
Over
Overcrew.
capacity.
over what you should be. Yeah.
And then there's us plus possibly another 3.
Plus possibly another 3 if there's 3 more you want to recruit. So yeah, there's a first pilot, second algebraist, second navigator, a ship surgeon, a guard master, a deck watch.
In that case, I will ask if they've modified the ship to allow for
Okay.
the extra capacity, because
There is also, I should point out, a captain's bird and a ship's cat.
Like a ship's cat. That's fun.
They have cats? I
Yeah.
didn't know they had cat.
What's the cat's name?
Gatu.
Cuddle.
Gatu. That'll be some
Gatu.
language for cat, because it's gata.
Probably.
Gata
Yeah,
in
it's Spanish.
Greek. Yeah,
It's Spanish.
Spanish, aye. It's gata in
Yeah.
Greek.
So yeah, you are. The ship is being retrofitted to function with the crew component that it has. So yes, it's not a concern. The crew listed on the map is the minimum crew, right? So
Okay.
that's not the maximum that the ship can support. That's
say
the
probably
minimum.
So its
150.
minimum running crew is 60. So it needs at least
Yeah.
60. So we're not
Yeah,
overcrewed.
So you're starting with 70 plus yourselves plus if you recruit up to 3
Okay.
more people.
I've decided a
There
chemist
There
and
will
2
also
guards.
be by the next session an equipment manifest that'll go through all of the equipment that is going to be loaded onto the ship standard, which includes things like additional delving suits, protective suits, grappling guns, a couple of flamethrowers, some orbital comm links, lots of stuff, right? So there'll be stuff
Nice.
loaded onto the ship.
Now,
In
looking-
addition,
sorry.
there is also an additional ship's boat and a shuttle. 4 escape pods. I guess the ship's boat is like the tug, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's
As
probably what
well.
it is.
And then your ship will also be able to dock with it in addition. So,
Okay. Looking at the crew list and description, etc., does it look like any of the people concerned are an away team, or are we the only away team?
so I think the intention is that you are the away team.
Right. You have.
So the thing you have to understand is that you're going as the explorers, right? So
Yes.
the Aander is a small slipstream cruiser. If you there are larger slipstream capable ships that ferry people between outward stations and Ship City, and those can often maintain several shuttles and transport multiple crews and things like this. This is intentionally being retrofitted just for this
For
situation.
this one purpose, so it's
Okay.
it's
No.
So,
one
no,
output.
you are the only explorers. The only explorer crew on the ship. Everybody else is there to basically make it possible that you can get
For
from
us to
one
be there.
location to
Yeah,
another.
everyone
Yeah.
else is
Yeah.
there so that we can
Yeah,
be
yeah.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. No, I was just concerned that we might not be the only delving team. It turns out we are, so that's fair
No,
enough.
you definitely are. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So all we need to worry about is how many of the crew are actually Black Toad, and whether or not
got
any of
sent.
them have any other instructions as far regards nicking stuff or diverting stuff. So yeah, okay, fine. But on the delve, it's just us. Good. Okay.
Right.
Who
Yep.
are we gonna get to work with us? That's my question. Who do we know to help us?
Well,
So,
I
here's-
would suggest that we try and find an expert on the Nadier, if such a person exists.
A
Right
historian.
now, that would probably be you guys.
Aye, that's us.
Yeah.
We're the only one that have
Yeah,
information.
I think guards is good.
Well, before you decide, here's the idea with the 3 extra slots. Those are kind of there so that you can have backup characters.
I was going to say, are these backup characters? It sounds like. I
Right,
was going to
okay,
say that.
okay,
but what happens
okay.
when all 5 of us go away? There's only 3 spots.
I mean,
That's all right. It's all right. I'll take over as captain
he's,
of the
he's,
Akanda.
plan, he's
How
planning.
about
He's not planning on killing all 5 of us, Max. He's hoping that
No.
no more than 3 of us should die. That's,
Hopefully none of you will die, right? But like, yeah, those are meant to be like, if you guys want to take some time in between sessions, if
We can
3 of
make
you
some
want to be like,
characters.
okay, well, I've got an idea for this character and this is their name, and you don't have to fully make the character yet, right? But like, they're basically like, they're your backups.
we
they're
can make
your
some
understudies.
backups. Yeah, that's cool. I like
Okay.
that
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
But
Okay.
currently, there's only room for 3. Now, to answer the question, what happens if more than 3 of you die and get replaced? There are other stations out there. There is a possibility of running into other people. But I think the
okay.
reason why they add in the 3 into the ship complement is if you find yourself in a situation where, like, we're not at a
Station.
local station,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not at,
We're
and,
just in
and
space
we
on
need a
the ship.
replacement character now, then you pull
It's
one of
so
those
that we've
extras.
got replacements
like,
ready
hey,
on
send
the
down
ship.
so and
Yeah,
so.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Well,
Okay.
I'd suggest that we get replacements sorted out for Rico and Edris, because Rico tends to charge in regardless, and Edris tends to
Well,
break
we-
quite easily.
Mine's just
We
hope.
can also-
Mine's just hope. Don't
we,
you worry
we can
about
also
me.
we can also just leave them unnamed at this time.
That's
right?
that's what I
Because,
thought
like,
would be the
that's
best plan.
Yeah.
You've
You got
Just have 3
Moot
slots.
1, Moot 2.
Then if
before you
somebody
guys
dies, they can
leave,
make a
you
character.
recruit 3 additional people, and then when it becomes important to know who they are, then they will come into play, right?
Okay.
They're that wonderful word that you like to use, nebulous, at the moment.
Right. Yeah. And then, if it goes past that, then I can start dipping into crew. But then you'd have to replace that crew, and yeah, there's a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's not gonna happen anyway. Nobody's
Okay.
dying.
hopefully not,
I'll
but
no die today.
it can always happen. I tell you right now, if you ever have to roll an injury and you roll a 66, that's whoops, somebody's dead. Like
I
that's how
got
it works.
I got a talent to deal with that. I think. Or there's
I
one
don't
for
think
that.
you do.
No,
oh,
because-
yeah, there are.
Well,
there
there's
are
a
some
talent-
talents that let you pick another option.
No, there's a talent where you can decide which dice is 10s and which ones is 1s.
Oh yeah, but if you roll a 66,
Doesn't
don't
matter if you
you're
roll a
done.
66.
Yeah.
66, you're goosed either way. That talent does not
Yeah.
save you from a
Uh-huh.
66, because you can swap the dice around with that talent. Doesn't matter on a
Yep.
66.
It's all part of the fun, all part of the
It's all
adventure.
part of the fun.
We're delvers, we're taking
would I-
risks, so
Would I be right in thinking we don't need to worry about supply?
Yeah.
That's an excellent question. So
Because if
here's-
our ship generates one
Yeah, it
supply or
generates
such
it.
and such, then this ship presumably generates a lot more than
enough.
So-
yeah.
generally in the rules, you while aboard Ship City, I mean obviously not while you're in a delve, but while aboard Ship City or aboard a slipstream ship, you do not need to worry about supply. However, there are still limits, right? So I will tell you right now that the base equipment manifest of the Aander lists 500 supply as being on board.
Okay.
Now,
And plus-
if you use a lot of that and then you go back to another port or you come back to Ship City, that'll get recovered. But at least while you're out, and plus your ship will continue to generate supply.
We are
and-
plus one
yeah,
per day anyway. We are generating
Exactly.
plus 1 per day.
right.
But,
Yeah,
but,
right.
but, but my point is the Aander probably also can generate plus so many a day itself.
Possibly.
I don't. I'll think about it.
Okay.
As
Well,
it stands, there's
the-
500 supply on the Aander.
Yeah,
No, I would say you
there's-
guys need to
there's-
make sure you get all the drugs you need.
Drugs are not what's generated as supply.
Now, one of the backup
yeah,
characters is definitely a chemist, because that's my backup character.
Actually, what's really funny is the Aander doesn't actually have a galley installed, so it doesn't automatically generate.
Oh. So we're
It does have a
generating
galley.
Technically, no.
Item
Where do you
4
see
on the
that?
crew level.
crew level
Are
galley.
you still looking at
yeah.
the map?
Yeah, crew level
course I am.
number
Yeah,
4 is the
I'm
galley.
looking at the actual stats, so it doesn't have a
Ah.
galley that creates
Ah,
supply.
this is the
It has a
original
galley.
map. Okay.
So I
Well,
think galley,
again-
it just doesn't
Galley
have the
Of course,
improvement galley.
of course, it has a galley.
Yeah, it just doesn't
It
have
doesn't
the
have
improved
the galley
Effect.
statistic that has it creating supply.
Yeah.
It of course it has a kitchen, right?
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'll provide you with a crew manifest, an equipment manifest, all that fun stuff you're gonna have at the beginning of next session. Because next session, unless there's anything else you want to do on Ship City, we're gonna embark and
Yeah.
head out.
I'm
into the
excited
world.
for it. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Things,
Do we know
Out into space.
things to look forward to next session. It does take time, so it's not like you're gonna be like, oh, we're going here, and then you're gonna be there. You have to fly through space, and it takes weeks. Now, the good news is stuff happens during those weeks that you may have to
Yeah.
deal with on the ship.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
it's not
The
instantaneous.
Black Toad for a start.
Well, not even that. Like, just
Pirates.
you could run in. Pirates are a possibility. You
Yeah.
could also have like systems breakdown that have to be fixed that you can help with.
Meteor showers.
Meteor showers. You will have. Also, it's important to note this is
Space
a working ship. So, although you guys are the explorers, you will also be
Jobs.
expected to be working on the ship and helping. And so you'll be making rolls to do various things and so forth.
I assume I'll be doing some
so-
cartography.
Maybe we'll see. We'll look deeper into that. But yeah, you basically have a week to get ready, and then to recruit some people, which we said will be nebulous until they're needed. Any other questions you have for these aides before we
can we
wrap
take
up today?
Weapons with us, or does the ship have an
Absolutely.
arse? Okay.
You can bring whatever weapons you want.
So I might go treat myself to a new rifle.
Given that you are the
before we go.
primary explorer team, you will not be required to lock your weapons in the armory on the ship. You
Open carry?
the captain would prefer you not open carry on the ship, but you'll learn very quickly as you start getting set up on the ship that he's not going to require you have your stuff in the arsenal. You can have it on your own ship, right?
Okay.
But he will, of course, make the requirement that your ship be locked up when you're not on it if you're keeping your weapons there.
Oh no, that's always.
Makes sense.
I will suggest to my fellow explorers that it might be worth checking to see what weapons are safe to use on a ship.
That's a good point.
Shooting
Well,
something
I've
that's
got
going to make a hole in the
weapons. I've gone
Yeah.
close combat with. I have got rifle and pistol as well, but primarily I've got a dagger and
Right.
obviously with brass
Yes.
knuckles and.
I mean, are there
Sure. I
any...
mean, some of that's like nobody's going to bat an eye if you have a dagger on your belt and you're going around the
Mm.
ship. But like, yeah, walking around with a lumen rifle, is probably not a
Firearms,
good
yeah,
idea.
but obviously if when we go on an actual get to another planet,
Yeah.
we could take the weapons with us. Rifles,
well,
pistols, and stuff
again,
like that.
that's also going to if you're on planet, sure. But if you're stopping at a station or because there's a
Yeah.
lot of stations out there. I
In
mean,
the
yeah, Ship
ships,
City
yeah.
is like the last holdout of humanity, but there are actually like mining concerns and space
Mhm.
station. Like we're in other places in the area.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, yeah.
most of us are in Ship City. So like when you
Okay.
go to a station, like you're gonna have to find out what the rules of the station are, right?
Of course, yeah.
Like they might be okay with open
Costumes, that
carry
sort
or
of
they might
thing,
not
yeah.
be. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what sort of ranged weapons are safe to use on board ship? Because if we
So-
if we are involved in dealing with pirates, either fighting them off on our ship or trying to stop them on their own,
The very good news is that all currently used range weapons are generally okay to use on a ship if it becomes necessary to do so.
Okay, fine. All right, don't have to worry
The
about
exception to that would be anything that creates a large explosion. That
Explosion,
could
yeah,
damage
yeah.
some
Yep.
hulls.
We're not throwing grenades
But-
and stuff around. Oh yeah.
But in general, Fusillade pistols are subsonic. Not to the point of being silenced. They still have a crack when they fire, but they are not. They're not as good as modern, like rifled firearms necessarily. And then
Yeah.
lumen pistols are lasers, essentially, so those are not going to penetrate the hull. Basically, the way it happens, and this is true of most sci-fi games, it's a matter of scale, right? So if you purchase shuttle weapons, which do exist, those weapons would be able to hurt the hull of a slipstream ship. But normal weapons, conventional weapons, don't. They just ping off. They might do some surface scoring, right? But it's not gonna put you all at risk of death.
You can't shoot a
there's
hole in
plenty
the
of
side of
other
a spaceship
things.
with a gun.
No.
It's not going to work.
No.
No, because of the shielding of it.
Well, it's not even shielding. It's just that
It's a matter of scale.
Yeah, it's scale. Yeah. So there's that. What else? Do you have other questions for the aides, or do you just want to let me tell you all the extra stuff they can tell you?
I let them. That's a little.
Yeah, let them.
Yeah.
I don't have many questions.
No.
So they will also inform you, because David asked this earlier, I believe, or someone did, that the Aander has been fitted with a sensor suite that is primed to the signal of the singularity sphere.
Oh, good. So we don't have to take the sphere with us. Good.
So it should be able to pinpoint it, or at least a general area of a system, planet, or moon, right?
Okay.
A similar priming has been performed on 2 deep scanners that are already aboard the ship. So you will have methods of tracking a singularity sphere, which is your goal, to find at least 2 more. Yep, we talked about the crew. And I think you've already figured this out, but the expedition's goal is to visit the 4 systems of the Hammurabi arm, investigate the source of the signals, and if possible, retrieve any similar artifacts that can help solve the puzzle of the Nadier's location.
Okay.
Yep. We're looking for the Nadier.
Do we
Yeah.
know what system? Do we?
Well,
know
you're
which
looking for
area we're
signals
Put it
first.
signal, yeah. But the end goal is the
yeah,
Nadier.
so let's talk about systems. This is a good time as any for that. We will go to the Lost Horizon star map.
Map of the flow.
Nice.
Oh no,
this
that's
is not the map
one
of
I
the
wanted to
flow.
look at. Okay,
That's the map of the flow.
and now I'll make this visible. There's the Aander down there at Jamua.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that's where
Ooh.
we're at. Okay.
I've just clicked on it.
So-
Or have you done that, Brian?
Oh shit, that was me by accident. I was just trying to ping the map to show the viewers, and I accidentally clicked on it.
That's what I was
How
trying
do we
to
go
do.
back? Like that? There we go.
Yeah,
That goes back.
yeah, I forgot that I set that up that way. So Jamua is down there, obviously. The 4 places, if somebody wants to open it, we can point out where they are.
I think there's
But they're on-
Auriga.
They're on the
Ninhalam.
Hammurabi arm, which is this kind of
Habanatum.
left-hand arm,
Yep, it was Ninhalam, Auriga, Habanatum,
and Gahand.
and Gahan. So it was these 4 that are on this arm. So if you go out here, it's this one, this one, this one.
So as far
on
as
first.
so you're aware, as far as distances go, there are the dotted lines that connect the various locations. You'll note that it's 12 leagues to go from Jamua to Gahand. What that means, I mean, you guys know what a league is in general. It's a unit of distance.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how it equates to astronomical units in this game, but it's just what they use, leagues. So your slipstream ship, the Aander, can travel 3 leagues per week. So it's actually going to take 4 weeks at best to get
that's
from
a month.
Jamua to Gahand.
So that's 4 weeks, just that to that.
And just that to that. And stuff happens in between, right? And then going to the other ones takes potentially even longer. Why do they not have the Brink River listed for distance?
I need to ping because I've not got my cursor showing on stream. So we're starting here down at Jamua. And then that's
Yeah.
4 weeks up to this first one, Gahand.
Yep.
So then it's
And
probably
then
going to be another
40
4 weeks.
40 leagues from Gahand to Habanatum, 32 leagues from Gahand to Auriga. And I think there might be a problem with the Brink River. I'll have to do more research. That's why it doesn't list the
It's not-
distance.
it's not
So
about
you
distance,
might be
right,
going
on it.
from Auriga to Ninhalam. But again, it depends upon what you find, too. You might be lucky and find 2 of them right away. You just know that those 4 systems are where you need to go.
So yeah, so I guess the logical way to do it would be Gahand first, then Auriga. And hopefully you get them at those 2, because then you've got
Now,
to decide
I'll also-
what you're doing next.
I'll also point out to you, because it doesn't happen all the time, but in this case, you'll note that there are a couple of routes, potentially, from Jamua to Gahand. There's one that kind of swings to the south around the far colonies that's got red lines in that direction. That actually means that that slipstream only goes in that direction, I
Right,
believe.
it's one way.
Oh, no, it's a trade route. My mistake.
Oh, right, okay.
Um,
red
It's
means
also,
trade.
but-
it's also only 8 leagues.
It's only 8 leagues, right? It's faster. So, if you
so
swing by the
effectively
far
it's faster.
colonies,
Yes.
yeah. So sometimes you want to take a look at that. Obviously, you guys can be involved in plotting courses and so forth.
Well, the captain will presumably know things about safety of the various routes.
He might. He might.
Well, I
but
hope
also,
he does. We want a competent captain.
But also, don't you have at least one cartographer and one?
Well, it might
don't
be
you have like an astro or
astrometer.
something?
I'm a
I'm an
cartographer.
astrometer.
I'm a
there's a
slipstream cartographer. That's exactly what I
Yeah.
am. I'm looking forward to this. This is my thing. This is like what I
So
do.
Ozil might know a little bit more.
Well,
It just depends.
you You and me together can help, Ozil. Me with my astrometry on space phenomena, and you with your cartography for slipstream.
And then, just like any kind of travel situation, there might be random encounters, there might be other things that you might get drawn off track to go look into. That's going to be completely up to you. This is kind of the open portion of the game. We finished the first chapter, which is kind of not on the rails, but like a specific storyline. And now it's open, and you have to make decisions on what to do now, because you are the people in charge. I mean, the captain is still in charge of his ship.
I'm the captain now.
He's there because of you. Like, he's there to transport you, so you guys need to decide. So, I assume that next week we're going to be heading towards Gehand, correct?
Yes. What, should we figure out which way we want to go? Do we want to go through the 4 colonies or go?
Whipping around that looks fast and fun.
It will not matter. You can go either way. The only thing that matters is time, right? So you make a decision now or next week if you want to take the Promontory Point line or the Far Bend line. It's up to you.
I like the Far Bend. It looks more fun.
Okay.
Well, we can take the Far Bend and not go to the Far Colonies, because that's
you could just go
on
past.
We're just going round it. Aye.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I will plan for the Far Bend trip to Gehand next time, and we'll go from there. I'll make sure to have like your crew manifest, your equipment manifest, all that fun stuff will be in your player journals for next time.
Sick.
Do keep in mind as well that you do have about a week before you leave, and you are leaving. So what that means is that you're not going to get paid. Again, because there isn't interstellar communications.
Yeah.
You'll get paid when you come back to Ship City. But the money you have on hand, unless you talk to some people and maybe get an advance, is what you have. And the equipment that's on the ship is going to be what you have. The equipment that's on the Aander and on your shuttle is going to be what you have.
So the currency we have at this moment in time, whatever cash we've got on us, is that able to be spent at other outposts or stations?
You hope so.
It'll be spent on Ship City. Okay, so all right, okay.
Probably, more than likely, but it's also, you all would know that some of the mining concerns out there, some of the smaller stations, they either function on barter or they function on things like company scrip, things like that. So they probably will take Ruck, right? Because if they ever go back to Ship City, which everybody usually does at some point, Ruck is going to be usable. But like, there are some places where Ruck might not be the first choice.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be mean to you and say that, like, no, there are some places, we don't take your money here. No, it's not going to be that bad. It's just Ruck might not be the first choice. Or you might have an opportunity to use something else, right? Rather than...
That's what I was thinking, trading more than actually just spending cold hard cash. It could be something,
Right.
Or would it? Or it could even be like, even if they do take Rock, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, Brian, at all. I'm sure you've already thought of this, but maybe something might be a little bit more expensive. You know, like an exchange rate sort of thing. So,
exactly.
That makes sense.
But generally, it won't be a huge problem, except for the fact that they will also be limited in what they might have.
What they could have, absolutely.
Yeah. So if you do want to get some extra shopping in before next time,
that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Do I get a few little bit extra before we go, or save it and see what's out there? And that's what's going on in my mind at the minute.
Well, like I said, don't be afraid to talk to some folks too, because you might be able to get some additional funds potentially out of out of some
Well,
of the
yeah,
guilds.
if you
If you make
promises
promises,
on an
Sponsorships from the
expedition, you can
guilds,
say,
yeah.
I'll bring you some stuff back if you can front me X amount.
I
Or
can get
X
sponsored by the
you might be able
Gardeners
to pull
Guild.
something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as I know, I don't think the Aander is full in terms of how much cargo it can carry.
I mean, our ship got a lot.
We've
of
got a
cargo
lot of
space.
space on our, even on our own ship.
Yeah, we've got loads of room on the.
Yeah, but the Aander is quite a bit larger.
But yeah, oh yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, it's got a decent selection of stuff. The Aander also does have a sheet. If you click on the Aander on the map, I think you all have access to it. Oh, why did I call it the Askander? It's the Aander. It's not the Askander.
Is that the one next to Jamua? It's not
Yep.
opening up for me.
Oh, is it not? I might have to
No.
change the configurations, but yeah, it essentially, from what it looks like to me, has unlimited cargo space because it's 0, 0. Let me change the supply in here to the 500 it should have and see what it does. Can I alter that? I don't know. I'll have to take a look at it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that's all I've got for you this week. So think about supplies. Think about if
XP,
you want to
remember.
talk to anybody. We can do that before we actually leave next week and start taking part in our first slipstream journey.
Yay.
But yeah, let's do some XP. So everybody participated. That's one. I didn't sense any superstition, Max. I think everybody else got their quirk, except for you.
Yeah, his is not there yet. It's
Okay.
certain things that do it for him.
No exploration. No. I'm not going to say you did any investigation today. Instigated or partake in intrigue.
Council, maybe?
Not really intrigue.
No.
Mostly a role-playing day. So far. Oh, go ahead.
I did get Master Muska to interface with First Servant Nima with regard to
You did.
minimizing the public relations
Yeah.
aspects of certain problems. Coriolis.
Yeah, I was just going to count that as interacting with your affiliated faction as well, though, which everybody I think did,
I got that
because
one.
you all talked to him about the different things.
Okay.
So that's two.
With David, the intrigue one, would the didn't Osric and Muska have a sort of unspoken moment about extra artifacts and stuff like that? Would that not count?
Well, that I don't think it's intrigue. That was just.
It'd be intriguing for
internal
us to
explore
know.
stuff.
Oh,
No, I think
Yes,
I'm going to
but
say.
I know.
does me? Here's a question for you, Brian. Does me secretly taking a wee bit of the flour and not letting anyone else know about that and having a wee private conversation with my contact, is that intrigue?
That could be intrigue. So I'll tell you what. I'll give you 4. David gets 4. Dave gets 3. And Max, you get 2.
Okay.
Plus 4 XP. That puts me up to 5. I can buy level 1 again.
Day of the crew, no challenge, no delve, no builder glyph, no promised favors yet. Oh, you did turn in some artifacts, so you get a crew point there. No aid from the bird in desperate circumstances. So your crew points go up to 3.
Plus 1 crew point.
And yeah, that's it for today. And then
Excellent.
I need to figure out how to change their slots. Oh man, that's all. Okay, I'll have to take a look at that. Oh, that's where I do it. Gotcha. All right, so yeah, that's it for today.
Thank you, Brian. As you can see,
Thank you
readers,
very much.
we are heading out into space. So yes, viewers, that was it. Thank you, Brian, for a wonderful session. We are now officially in Chapter 2. And thank you, Dave and David and Max, for playing with me. Thank you, Raiders. Brotherhood of the Dice has just raided us at the end of the stream there. Thank you very much for the raid troops. We appreciate you. We'll be back in 2 weeks for our first slipstream adventure. What do you call it? A slipstream journey? Brian?
Yeah. Slipstream journey. That's
in 2
accurate,
weeks'
I
time.
think.
Join us on Thursday for some Fallout. I forgot what I was going to say. Thank you very much for watching, troops. We love you. I am RxOliver. I'm a dickhead, and these are my friends. Good night. Bye. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.